we are here with you guys today. It is myself and my beautiful co-host, Corian. She is going to be joining us. And for those of you out there that are new or that are new to Corian's face, she is new here. She is one of our newest co-hosts. I told you guys we were going to be seeing some new things coming about. And one of those new things coming about is having Corian, having brilliant co-hosts like Corian show up and have fun with us and do the topics and talk about all the nerdy, sweaty things that we always all like to talk about. So, like, of course, I appreciate you guys being here. As always, it is nothing but... Is the music loud? Wait, this whole music is weird. Oh, I know it was weird. I'm so sorry. You know what, Stamina? I said that. I said, I bet you they're hearing two different musics right now.
He did say that.
And you know what? The funny thing is, again, you can all put the blame on Henry.
It's
just
always
like last
Henry.
week. Just like last week, man. I told Henry before we, like last night when we were going over everything, I was looking at the OBS screen and I said, this looks weird. Is it supposed to look like this? And he's like, oh, don't worry about it.
Listen, I'm new here, but I'm gathering that anytime Henry says, oh, don't worry about it, we should probably start worrying about it.
Definitely should worry about it, because I'm sitting here like, this shit looks weird. I don't know what this is. Why is two versions of music playing? So you guys are not the only ones that felt weird. But we have a lot to get into today.
Yes.
There is several topics that we're going to talk about today. We are going to talk... obviously, Harrison Ford being cast as Red Hulk, Thunderbolt Ross. We are going to discuss some of the Black Panther Wakanda Forever updates. We are going to discuss Spider-Man 4 and how it seemingly has a release date for July 12th, 2024. I don't know if I believe that, but we will see.
Yes.
And how it is supposed to be connecting with Daredevil Born Again. That series is going to bleed into that film. We are also going to discuss the MCU Push Backs and how there are so many things that have been pushed back within the past
week.
Yeah, within this week. So many projects were pushed back. But this is also something that I honestly wasn't shocked when they got pushed back.
No, I feel like it definitely needed to happen.
Yeah, I wasn't shocked by that.
They're pushing so much out, and if they want to do it correctly and justice, I say take your time with it.
Yeah.
I'm not mad.
Yeah, no, I definitely...
But don't, pull a Rihanna on me either, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Don't keep me waiting. But...
Yeah, for sure.
Get me right.
And, as always, before we even get into everything, like I always say here, if you guys have any questions throughout your week or throughout if you see something, a topic, I know Stamina MC has been on this heavy, and I appreciate it, bro. In the Discord, in the link down below, or in the bio down below, you can click the link, and then that link, you can join our Discord. That Discord will allow you to interact with us throughout the week, anytime that you feel like you want to talk with us, whether it be about some of the nerdy things that we talk about, or anything different that you want to talk with us about. You can join that Discord link down below, join the Discord, send us topics or something that you would like us to talk about throughout the week, and we will bring that up on the show, and we will also bring your name up on the show and let everyone know that you are the one that sent that topic to us and want to hear what we have to say about it. So Stamina sent a lot of different things. Some of those things I had already seen and was saying to myself, okay, these are things we are going to discuss this week. Some of the worth mentionings here that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Johnathan Majors putting on 10 pounds of muscle for Warrior Kang for Ant-Man 3. One of the other off the top worth mentioning things we'll discuss is Mephisto. Sasha Baron Cohen being cast as Mephisto.
I'm excited.
We're going to talk about that. I wanted to discuss, I don't know if you watched Sky High.
Yes, the one on Disney?
Yes, there's a sequel, Sky High University.
Really?
That's coming out. Yeah, they're working on a sequel, and the cast is coming back. So that is something I am interested for, because I thought Sky High was great, and it wasn't up and away. But it was good. It was good. It was good. It was a good Disney Channel original movie. And we're also going to talk Tom Ellis, star and actor in Lucifer, possibly being cast as Mr. Fantastic. I still want Penn Badgley, but hey, I'll take Tom Ellis. So
I'm not mad. That's a good second.
We have a lot to dive into today, and we're going to try to dive into it and we're also going to do this with you guys in the chat. This is the Marvel Encyclopedia Now we're gonna play around with this thing. I'm gonna ask chat questions. We're gonna test you guys' Marvel knowledge. When we play this game, normally it's gonna be with when we have a full panel of co-hosts where we can ask them questions. We'll have the co-hosts represent one of you guys down in the chat, and while they're representing you guys, they have the chance to win you guys a prize. This week's prize will be a Funko Pop of Hawkman from obviously the new Black Adam film, and I have some Black Panther ones too, but we're not giving those away until closer to Wakanda Forever.
You gotta wait. Sorry about that.
So we'll when we can have a full panel here and we can play the game and have have a panelist represent somebody in the live chat to have the opportunity to win a prize for them, we'll do that. But today we're just going to test you guys' Marvel knowledge down in the because I saw somebody say that they are a Marvel. What'd you say? A Marvel, your Marvel knowledge, your Marvel enthusiast. So we'll see.
Oh, I'm excited. Yes, I'm excited to dive into it and possibly learn something new today.
Yeah. But before I shout out some of the people in the chat, Corian, how was your week?
It was really good, actually. It was nice and not too chaotic, and being here this Sunday got me through it because I was so excited to be here with you guys, be a part of the channel. So I'm not mad.
That's good. I'm glad. Yeah, no, like I said, last week when we talked after our live stream last Sunday, we had a very good conversation. I thought that it was a great convo. I thought that, again, the energy that you brought, I think it's going to be great. I think that you're going to be a great fit here. So I'm very excited.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, so am I. So we're going to give a shout out to, obviously, Stamina MC. What is up? He said, what's good, Fanatics? That's when you talked about the hold music. We got D Stizzle here, who's been checking y'all out for a while now. My first time in a live. We appreciate you being here for your first time in a live, bro. That is so cool that you've been with us. Happy to have you in a live, for sure. We've got someone who's got my name. Darius said, hey, y'all, we got Mephisto. A trusted source has confirmed his casting and debut for Ironheart. Yeah, but that's something we are going to talk about. We were talking about that with Sasha Cohen. We've got one from Trey, who is in the chat with us in spirit. He is home with his new bundle of joy. And we have got Ashura, who is also here quite often, who says MCU and Disney mostly showing their racism with Black Panther. Here we go with the Black Panther. Ashura is always on the recast, but I love it, bro. Like, you come in every time. On the ready for the recast
always
stuff.
Has to be that one person.
Always. So people were right. Nobody asked for BP2. Stop rushing it. Slow down. Hey, we're already on it. That's something we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about some of the newest things with Wakanda Forever, Black Panther, and all that stuff. So let me know down below really quick. Is the music loud? It's loud for me. But if it's not loud for you guys, let me know. For sure. Oh yeah, bro, I know you're black. I figured you were black. I knew you weren't white. Did I say he was white?
No, okay, I don't think you ever even gave that energy.
Yeah, I was gonna say no. I figured he was black. Is the music loud though, chat? Let me know. If the music's loud, let me know. I can turn it down. I can turn it up if it's not loud enough or whatever. But it's on our end. So
oh my gosh, tell me if I'm loud too, because I get excited.
No, you're fine. So let's we'll first get into. I guess we'll jump into what Johnathan Majors was talking this week. Let me see if I can find that really quick. There we go. So we've got Johnathan Majors, who came out, and obviously you had all the pictures of Johnathan Majors looking shredded as fuck.
Yes.
He looked insane, and on top of looking insane, I remember I said to myself, I was like, this has to be for Creed. Like, there's no way he's putting all this weight on for Kang. I was like, because Kang is going to be in a bodysuit. Like, do we really need to see...
True.
Whatever. But at the end of the day, Johnathan Majors came out and said that he put on 10 pounds of muscle because he's going to be playing a warrior version of Kang in Ant-Man and the Wasp. I guess not just in Ant-Man and the Wasp, but I think the warrior version of Kang the Conqueror is going to be the version that we see throughout the MCU. The version that they even fight maybe in Secret Wars. The version that they could fight in Kang Dynasty. In which, one of the reasons that I said to myself, this has to be for Creed and not Kang, is because typically you don't see Kang hand-to-hand combat fighting.
You really don't, no.
It's typically he's got, weapons from in the future,
right,
that he has the
ability and
access to get anytime he wants. So that's why I was like, oh, this has to be for Creed. But no, Johnathan Majors came out and said himself, he said it was the character and the dimensions of Kang that drew Johnathan Majors himself to the role and the potential that it had. I thought, I'll take a chance on that. Majors explained the actor worked with strength and conditioning coach Jamie Sawyer to bulk up his performance, with Sawyer implementing the same approach he uses on MMA fighters. Sawyer says he is the warrior version of Kang, so there was focus on what the warrior would look like, who has been around throughout the ages and has developed every type of combat skill. Wow. It was about making him look like an imposing figure.
That is like really exciting too, because I feel like we haven't really got a lot of combat villains.
Right.
We have, of course, but
we've had some, but not like in the when I hear what he just said there at the end, I'm thinking Shang-Chi, the bus scene.
Yes.
I'm thinking some of the fight scenes that we saw in that. Like if he's a combat and if he's equipped in every area of combat there, and he has the skills that they're saying he has, then I want to see some action like in Shang-Chi.
Right.
I want to see a bus fight scene. I want to see that Talo fight scene that the Mandarin had with his mother. The airbending stuff.
Yes.
That was so dope.
It was so cool.
So I would like to see some of that stuff like that, and like I said, with Johnathan Majors, we know how great of an actor Johnathan Majors is. I thought that he was great in Loki when he showed up.
And I feel like that was just the surface too.
That was just the surface.
I feel like he had such a small play towards the end that he couldn't get to like the nitty gritty because he knew he was coming later. But the fact that they picked this variant, because at the same time too, he's a very smart man. He's very beyond his means, of course, because he is
King the Conqueror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very exciting for him to show us not just what he can do with his mental, but with his physical as well. So I'm super excited that they chose this.
Yeah,
variant.
You can pull your mic in a little, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, no. So I'm excited for that too. Like I said, I think Kang's great. I saw the leaked footage from Quantumania that they showed at D23, and again, the dialogue that he gives in that is just phenomenal. The way that he's looking is phenomenal. The suit looks great. I want to see him with the helmet on itself, but he looks great.
Yes.
And seeing the photos again of him jacked. If that's the Kang that we are getting, if he's coming in like that, as I've said from day one when they announced Kang, the Avengers better get fucking ready because he's going to he's going to come in and decimate, bro. Yeah, he's coming in crazy.
Yeah, it's about to go down.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely excited for that. So that's coming from, like I said, Johnathan Majors and Kang, and that's one of the worth mentioning things there. So we'll do another worth mentioning, and that's going to be Sasha Baron Cohen is rumored to be playing Mephisto in the upcoming MCU show Ironheart.
Yes.
Which, again, so let me try to, if you don't know what's really going on with Ironheart, as far as a plot goes, some things, of course, always leak. Things always come out. We also know that Agatha is supposed to be showing up in Ironheart as well. The Red Hood is going to be the main villain of Ironheart. The Red Hood is one that, it was an interesting choice when I saw it. I was like, okay, Red Hood, that's an interesting choice. What are we doing with Red Hood? But then, knowing that the Red Hood is sorcery, but he also uses weapons and at the same time, the rumor that we heard is that Agatha is going to be playing a mentor role to the Red Hood, and that and now having Mephisto joining in Ironheart kind of makes a little bit more sense as to why he would be there if Agatha is going to show up.
I was about to say.
You've got the whole thing, you've got the relationship that they have in the comics between Mephisto and Agatha.
Right.
Not only that, Mephisto is connected to Wanda, Wanda being connected to Agatha. Wanda showing up in the Agatha series. Mephisto could possibly even show up in the Agatha series, because what we've heard is that Sasha Baron Cohen did not just sign for Ironheart. It was this and 4 other projects in the MCU that he had signed up for. So the other 4 projects, what they may contain, what we could see from Mephisto, because it was rumored Mephisto showing up in WandaVision.
There was a lot of rumors going around too that he was gonna be one of the main character or one of the main villains in Wanda, just because of how the kids came about.
Yeah.
Right, like we never really got like a true definition and like a true answer of the kids and how they're still alive, and like we've gotten pieces here from there and all that, but I think that's gonna be really exciting. And like you said, everything just kind of connects together. So I would be surprised if they would have brought Mephisto on and not somehow put it together with Ironheart and Agatha, just because it just makes sense with how they're portraying everything, I wouldn't know where else he would show up in.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for Mephisto. We've been waiting for Mephisto for a long time. I was one of the ones during the WandaVision days that was so heavy on, okay, he's coming. He's coming this episode. Okay, he's coming this episode. Okay, we're going to see him in the finale.
I had a feeling he wasn't going to come. I knew he was going to be mentioned. I figured it was too good to be true, but...
I don't even think we had a mention of Mephisto.
Wasn't there eggshells? Or...
There were the Easter eggs that they had put out there. There were the Easter eggs that they had put out there leading toward Mephisto. We just didn't have a definitive mention of the name Mephisto.
True. Okay.
We heard like the devil's in the details and things like what Agatha said, the devil's in the details. That we, that was more of a hint that fuck Agatha, or not Agatha, Mephisto. On
his way.
Everybody just really thought that Mephisto was coming. And then he ended up not, showing up in the series. But like I said, with him showing up in Ironheart, it does kind of make sense with Agatha showing up. Now, if the rumors would have come out without Agatha showing up in Ironheart, I would have been a little confused as to why Mephisto's showing up in Ironheart. But with Agatha being in Ironheart and Agatha being a mentor to the Red Hood, makes sense. Because here's the thing too, we also don't know. The last time we saw Agatha, Wanda had put her under her incantation spell to where she was going to be stay stuck in New Jersey. I was just about to say, was this
previous WandaVision?
I don't even think I think this is after WandaVision. Yeah. And I think Mephisto is going to be one of the ones, maybe, this is just me speculating, I don't know, I have no inside details or anything like that, but this could be Mephisto getting Agatha out of Wanda's hex to where she can leave Westview.
Is Agatha, the show Agatha, is that going to be more on how Agatha became Agatha? And like how, or is that
I think we may see flashbacks, but it wouldn't make sense for it to be a show centered around how Agatha becomes Agatha if Wanda is in the series. And Pietro is supposed to be showing up in the series as well.
So this is more Evan like Peters. Probably just catching us up to where we're at.
Yeah. It's probably going to be more moving forward. I think we are done moving back. I think if we see flashbacks of things, it's just going to be literally that, flashbacks. Like because I remember originally in Blade, they wanted the storyline to happen in like 1920, I believe, or correct me if I'm wrong in the chat on that. It was some predated time that we have not visited in the MCU. But I think what they're trying to do is move past the blip. I think the Wakanda Forever is going to be one of the last time, not one of the last mentions of the blip, but one of the last times that we see the effects of the blip. I think we're moving past that. Yeah, we're moving forward. So I think that this is going to take place after WandaVision.
Yeah.
And when he shows up. So Sasha Baron Cohen is a very interesting pick. I'm actually on board with it, though, because I think he's great.
Yeah, I think he's great.
And I think that he could bring literally what we're looking at. He could bring that.
I was about to say, I think
that Mephisto.
I think he can bring what we're expecting physically, but I think he can also bring something different to it view-wise, if that makes sense. Like, I think he can bring a different side of Mephisto that maybe we just aren't expecting.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that he's really going to do a good job at bringing Mephisto to life for sure.
Yeah, I just feel like, because whatever role he's in, I feel like he just really knows how to keep it in the box while taking it outside the box as well.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited for what he's going to do with this character, because this character really is... Me personally, I think he's so centered, but he's also all over the place.
Like, he's all over the place. That's the thing. It's like there's Mephisto enters into so many different storylines, and not just that. You have the shit between him and Doctor Strange.
Yes.
And we know that Doctor Strange right now has the Darkhold, and has been studying the Darkhold. There's a lot that could go on with Mephisto being in the MCU.
Yeah.
And I also think, coming from My Time to Shine Hello, you will hear me say that name a lot. My Time to Shine Hello is one of the most credible insiders, I think, scoopers at least, not insiders, I'm sorry, scoopers on the scene on Twitter. She tweeted out that this has been in the works. This is not new, and we are finally going to see Mephisto, that he's coming in. So it is true. Even though Marvel Studios themselves have not come out and said Sasha Baron Cohen is going to be playing Mephisto.
This is
one of those. It falls in line. Everybody knows what we do. Everybody knows, not just us. Everybody knows what YouTubers typically in this space do. When you hear a leak, when you hear something, it's typically accurate. We heard last week about Harrison Ford. Actually, we heard back at D23 about Harrison Ford.
Yeah, D23, really.
Yeah, and Marvel still has not come out and said anything official about it. Just like with Werewolf by Night, Marvel never came out and said anything about Werewolf by Night. But look, we got one of the greatest things from Phase 4. So I would definitely say take these leaks with a grain of salt, but also I would say this is very credible. This is a very credible thing.
I think it's super credible for sure. Because I feel like they're very quick to not really deny things, but put things underneath the rug if it's not true, and then things that are true, they're like, well, we're not going to say no, but we're not going to say yes. So the fact that they're not trying to put this underneath the rug, I'm like,
yeah, I think they're gonna do. I think they're gonna do good. I think he's gonna do good. I think Mephisto's gonna. I think Sasha Cohen will do great as Mephisto. And when Marvel does officially announce it, I'm ready to see the concept art of what he's going to look like in the MCU as Mephisto. So that's
I hope he's scary looking.
Yeah, that's exciting for sure.
I want him to be super scoopy.
One more worth mentioning here, and that is going to be Tom Ellis. Tom Ellis is obviously plays Lucifer he plays Satan in the show Lucifer.
I love that show. I'm obsessed with that show. I vouch for that show.
Now, see, I'm not one that watched Lucifer, so you could kind of go in a little bit harder than I can on Tom Ellis.
Well, just some facts about the show. It originally was not a Netflix show. I want to say it was, I think, a CW show. Mm-hmm. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. But it was not a Netflix show. They dropped it after season 3 or 4. And that last episode in that season literally made no sense. And then fans petitioned it. And then Netflix picked it up and put the story back in circle. I think Tom Ellis did an amazing job. I think the story itself is so good because the story is about Lucifer's story, but it's really more about redemption and just how it's possible for anyone. And I feel like how he portrayed it and how he just really connected with the audience and made it more than about himself, bigger than himself. Like, you have sympathy for him to a certain extent, but you really have more sympathy of just the situations that he's in and what he has to go through in order to learn that lesson of redemption.
Right. Yeah. Well, see, I didn't watch, like I said, didn't watch it. I've seen things from it, just didn't watch it.
It's also hilarious.
But I know Tom Ellis's work.
Yeah.
And with him, for me, because I see Raymond, I'm gonna get through some of the chat here. Forgive me. Actually, can you pull up the YouTube?
Possibly.
If you go to YouTube there and just pull up the channel.
Am I already signed in and everything?
You should be.
Okay.
It should be on there. And if you can go there and check out the chat there. But I am gonna get with the chat. I'm gonna get with you guys and go through some of you guys' comments. But I see Raymond 2000 said, I love Tom Ellis. I like Lucifer the show, but I still want Johnathan Krasinski, and I don't think there's any truth to this news. I think this is already confirmed. I will say this. We are in the multiverse.
We are.
And us being in the multiverse.
Yes.
Marvel said a couple weeks ago. Well, I don't want to say Marvel said. It was alluded to from insiders a couple weeks ago that John Krasinski is going to continue on as Mr. Fantastic. Now, if you know the Secret Wars Time Runs Out timeline or comics, you know that we have our Earth 616 Mr. Fantastic,
right.
Mr. Fantastic, but you also have the Ultimates Universe Mr. Fantastic.
Yes.
That they both play a major role in Secret Wars. So, just because Tom Ellis is being talked and cast for Mr. Fantastic does not then mean that Johnathan Krasinski is not still on the table.
Yeah, of
because
course.
Johnathan Krasinski, I believe, is still going to come in as a variant of Mr. Fantastic. Whether that be the Ultimate Universe's Mr. Fantastic or not, I don't know. I do not believe he's going to be our 616 Mr. Fantastic, however, because that would then be meaning that Johnathan Krasinski, which I just don't believe he is, would have to sign an extensive contract with Marvel in order to be Mr. Fantastic for however many films they want Mr. Fantastic in.
I don't think he's in that place personally or career-wise. You know what I think?
Right.
You know what I mean? I feel like he's in such a different...
I think he's in a different place. Now, he's always said he wants to be in the MCU, and he is in the MCU, but I just don't think that he has signed whatever contract is going to be extensive. Now, the Penn Badgley rumors, if that was true... That was more so the one I want.
Yes, I think it could be true to a certain extent, and I think, like you said, it could be a variant of some sort. I think it could be a different version. I don't know. I'm not completely taking that off the table at all.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure what they're doing with him. Don't, excuse me. I don't think that it is. I don't think they're just getting rid of Krasinski for sure, though. But if Tom Ellis is on the roll and he is one that is being looked at, then cool to him. I don't dislike it. It's not like he's not one that I would have thought to myself, oh yeah, Tom Ellis. He's not even a name I would have looked at. But hey, if Marvel thinks that Tom Ellis can do it, cool. Let's have Tom Ellis come in and do it. But again, not my first choice at all.
Yeah, and you also know me. I will say it time and time again. I'm like the biggest simp for Marvel and Kevin Feige, and I'm like, everything you do makes sense, and I think they do everything on purpose. And yeah, I'm not mad about it. Yeah. I think it would really be fun too to see that different side of him, because his most recent work was, devilish. It was conniving, manipulating, and so I think it would be cool to kind of see him in this light for people who are new to the Tom Ellis train.
Right. Yeah. I think Tom Ellis would be if they bring him in, that'd be great. I'll touch on some of the comments here before we move to our main topics, because that is what we're about to move into next. We're going to move into our main topics, and we do have 4 main topics today. So we'll touch on one of the main topics first, and then we will do the Marvel Encyclopedia with you guys. Then we will move on to the remaining topics, and then we will. I don't know if we're going to go long today, guys, because as everybody in the chat knows, it is a very busy day for this channel.
Yes.
We have our live stream this morning, and then at 7:30, we have the live stream with Back of the Bus, the movie blog, and the creator of Recast T'Challa, E-Man himself. So we will be streaming with them, but then after that, later tonight, after House of Dragon, myself and my co-host will be live discussing that episode, because it's going to be a crazy episode. It's going to be too crazy for us not to discuss it.
No, so we have to.
Yeah, so we're going to discuss that. So I'm going to touch on some of the things here really quick, and then we're going to try to keep it moving. Let's see. It says we have one from D-Stizzle that says Avengers Forever is my favorite storyline featuring Kang. It's also one of mine. I love that storyline. Anything with Kang, honestly, I'll take that. I think one of my favorite storylines with Kang is probably Children's Crusade. I love Ironheart. I'm sorry, Iron Lad, and when that whole dynamic, when Kang is talking to his younger self and telling him this is what we become, this is what we have to do, and the younger self's like, what the fuck? I don't want to.
Right, I don't want no part of this. Yeah, like, whoa.
I really like that storyline. I think that it's really well done, and not only that, I adore the Scarlet Witch. I adore the Young Avengers. So when you trickle that in on top of a badass villain with Kang, I think it culminates for an amazing story.
It really does. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I really like that.
I really do like anything with Kang in it. I feel like you just can't go wrong.
Really
can't.
Kang's great. Then we got Austria that said, why is Mephisto and Ironheart? Why not in a Doctor Strange movie? Also, how did Agatha get unwrapped since Wanda made her dull again? Yeah, so some of the things we kind of touched on.
Yeah.
There. Some of the things we kind of touched on.
I really think that's gonna really answer that question for you. I feel like that's what's gonna really put that all back in circle to get us, like you said, caught up, because we're moving forward from the blip and what happened during and what happened after, and we all know she doesn't stay in that hold forever.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure he had like a sixth sense going on there.
Yeah, I definitely think that Mephisto, more than likely, if the ties are there with Agatha like they are in Marvel Comics, then there's an easy explanation as to how she gets out of Wanda's hex, and that is Mephisto. It's something that can happen. Like I said, Agatha's also a powerful witch herself, so
she is.
That could also have been done just through her own means.
Not one to be trifled with. And when all this was going down too, Scarlet was still very new to her craft. She just realized, her potential and what she can do. So and at that point, Agatha she already knew her, her whole history and who she was going to become. So like you said, she could have easily pulled it out herself.
Yeah, she definitely has the means to do that herself for sure. We got Stamina MC that said Mephisto is a fudging meme at this point. Marvel is going to need to do their absolute best work for me not to just roll my eyes at whatever they do. I will say when it comes to Mephisto, I heard Mephisto's name more in 2020 and 2021 than almost any Marvel character's name when it came to Mephisto. Even in No Way Home, people were thinking that Mephisto was going to show up just because of things that were, having the poster of the person made boycotting Spider-Man that had the devil's horns. People were like, oh, Mephisto. It's becoming one of those things where when you say Mephisto's name, you are akin to roll your eyes. It's like, okay, whatever. Yeah. Is this going to happen? Are they doing this? We've been hearing Mephisto's name for the past 2 years now, so I can definitely see where that energy's coming from with that. We've got Raymond 2000 that said, imagine if we had a Christopher Priest Black Panther movie. That, bro, yeah. One of the greatest. I think Christopher Priest does a great job when it comes to the writing he did for Black Panther in his comics.
He did so well.
It would be insane. I doubt.
I wouldn't be mad about it.
It's not a Marvel sleeve, though.
No. I wouldn't be mad about it if it happened, though.
And then we've got, let's see. We've got a bot in the chat.
Yeah, we do.
PAS36 fun. Anyway, then we've got, yeah, everybody's kind of just saying the same thing there. Everybody's kind of saying the same thing. So we'll move on to the main topics here. And then one of the last things that I'll say, too, is one of the other off the tops is the Nova series. We saw that the Nova series is now being moved to a special. We talked about this. I actually put a video out. I clipped it from the last live stream we talked about, and it went up this past week. And that is Marvel Studios moving from series to specials. As we've seen with Werewolf by Night, that is the move, in my opinion. That is the move.
I don't think we're gonna get series for much longer, especially
they don't need to.
When, I don't want to be the one to say it, even though everyone's saying it, especially with She-Hulk and how I think that whole feedback between She-Hulk and Miss Marvel, I think them just being back to back and the comments and just like the energy that's been towards it, and then they gave us Werewolf by Night. I think they're just like, okay, this is just an obvious.
Yeah.
But I'm not surprised too, because as soon as they started series, I didn't know if they were gonna stick with it. I didn't know if it was just like a test in the waters because they did just sign the contract with Disney and everything else. But I figured they weren't going to stick with series for very long just because it's not what everyone is used to. And I figured they would find a way to do something like a series, but...
Yeah, no, they definitely dropped the ball on the series. When it comes to Marvel series, it's not like a House of Dragon or a Stranger Things or even
they're basically
Disney
mini
Plus's
movies.
And definitely with Disney Plus's launch with the Mandalorian. Mandalorian kind of started their launch of streaming, and it's not even on par with Mandalorian. Nothing that Marvel has done series wise is on par with some of these other series, and it just. I think that they are seeing that. I think that's, which we're going to talk about. I think that's one of the reasons why we've seen some of the pushbacks. I think that's one of the reasons why we're seeing Nova become a special. On and on and on. The things we're going to talk about. So, and then I saw there that D. Stizzle said, I'll never forgive... I can't pronounce Joe's last name. I'm so sorry. I can never pronounce it even when I read that comic, because I believe it is the One More Day comic or what is it? It is the One More Day comic, I believe. So yeah. Oh yeah, Joe Quesada.
That is One More Day.
Yeah, the One More Day comic. Yeah, a lot of people did not like that retcon there when Mephisto, because in the comic, in order to correct me if I'm wrong. It's been a while since I've read One More Day, but in order to
it's been a minute.
Bring MJ back, he had to make a deal with Mephisto, and I believe it was, correct me if I'm wrong down there in the chat. I forget how exactly that whole thing goes. But I do know that Spider-Man had to make a deal with Mephisto, and then it retconned MJ and Peter's marriage. So yeah. Like, again, that just goes to show you so many storylines that Mephisto's involved in. I mean, hell, Mephisto's even involved in a storyline with Victor Von Doom, where Victor goes to the pits of hell to free his mother.
Oh my gosh, I completely forgot. So he's in so many storylines, little and big. It's so, I'm excited. between him and Kang, I'm just so much is about to go down, guys.
Yes, one more day was. I thought so. I thought it involved Aunt May too. It did involve Aunt May. Yeah. To save Aunt May from her death and everything like that. But it also involved MJ too, I believe. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff there with Mephisto, and like I said, with the series and everything with Nova, we are getting that Nova. We knew we were getting a Nova series, but now turned special, and I think that that's just going to be so much better. So we'll move into the main topics here, and the first main topic that we're going to move into is going to be the Spider-Man main topic, and with Spider-Man possibly tying into Daredevil Born Again. One of the things that I remember saying, with getting so many reports about Spider-Man sooner rather than later, in the reports about it being tied into Daredevil Born Again and everything else like that, and also. We're also going to touch on Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield and everything like that coming back into the MCU. Yep, so the report, honestly, this is all coming from Alex Perez over at Cosmic Circus. And Alex Perez just had to say that Marvel is moving forward with Spider-Man and that we will possibly be seeing Spider-Man show up July 12th, 2024, sorry. I don't know if I completely believe that, and the only reason I say that is because
that's gonna be super rushed. Unless they're telling us something we don't know.
Yeah, and here's the thing too. When it comes from Alex Perez is another good insider. I'm not saying that what he is saying is wrong in any way, but in order for this to happen, which. I'm not saying it's not true either, because we've seen the shift in dates. We've seen dates being shift or whatever, has happened with Blade and the newest MCU shifts and projects and things like that. But if you look at that slot, you look at what's going on in 2024 with Marvel projects, there's not a slot for Spider-Man, and we would have to have Spider-Man come before.
That is true. I did notice that. Like after No Way Home, I was just kind of like, well. Where's our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man?
Right.
So I think when they announced that he was going to be the leader of the more of like the street Avengers with Daredevil, I felt like that made more sense.
Yeah, he's going to be more the street level hero there. He's going to be, which is something that we've all been wanting from Spider-Man since, day one, is we want to see that more street level. We want to see him being that friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, protecting the neighborhood instead of like he said in the film, I can't protect the neighborhood if there's no neighborhood to protect. Instead of protecting, the world, the universe, we're going to see Spider-Man being Spider-Man. And I think that's one of the most exciting things at the end of No Way Home is you actually see him move into the apartment. You see him at his lowest when there's no one on his side. Yeah. You see him make his own suit, and then that last swing in No Way Home where he's swinging above the Christmas tree and
it broke my heart.
Yeah, and then it's the whole thing. It was great. So I think that's what we want to see when it comes to Spider-Man. We were ready to see him be Spider-Man, especially now that again no one knows him, no one is aware of who he is.
And I also feel like we always got kid version Spider-Man, and we never really touched base on like adult version Spider-Man until we got into when they did the multiverse Spider-Man, the animation, which was amazing and is hands down one of my favorite Spider-Man movies till this day.
Yeah.
But I think this is exciting to kind of see him go into a different direction mentally.
Yeah.
Like, more into adulthood. Like you said, like, I am alone and I have to do this by myself and I have to figure out my suit and my apartment and how I'm going to not just save myself, but save the neighborhood.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's going to be dope seeing that. And also they mentioned the shifts in the article. Alex Perez mentioned the shifts, but funny enough that this article came out before the shifts. So when he mentioned this article, or when he mentioned the shifts in this article, that's what makes me start to believe that maybe Spider-Man is coming out July 12, 2024, because he mentioned that Marvel is going to make shifts in projects. Now, are these shifts in projects, do they have something to do with Blade? Yes. Again, we're going to get to that. They do have something to do with Blade, because it's a domino effect. It's a cinematic universe. When one domino falls, it affects other dominoes, other players. But they mention the shifts and all that. And they also go on to mention the symbiote. If you remember at the end of No Way Home, the symbiote, a piece of the symbiote is left in the MCU. However, the symbiote is not going to play a role in this upcoming film because in order for it to play a role in this upcoming film, it would have to make sense. He's not going to get the symbiote right off the bat like that. And the reason he's not going to get the symbiote right off the bat like that is because if this film is doing what they're saying it's going to do, it's going to tie into Daredevil Born Again and things like that. As I've mentioned several times in other what's going on, J.O. Wolf? As I've mentioned so many times in other Spider-Man videos we've done, we know that the rumor is that Kingpin is going to be the overall villain in the film, and that this is all going to take place starting in Echo. Echo is going to bleed into Daredevil Born Again. Daredevil Born Again is going to bleed into Spider-Man 4. And the events of Echo, we are going to see Kingpin try to take on the role of Mayor Kingpin. Yeah. To where at that point he becomes untouchable as Mayor. To where it's in line with the Devil Reign comics. Yeah. That Marvel really does. Is. Yeah. Where Kingpin becomes the mayor of New York City and outlaws all heroes. You know. We could be seeing a scenario with that. I mean, we've got Vincent D'Onofrio back. We've got
so excited.
Charlie Cox back.
So excited. We're also possibly going to see Punisher come back too.
Yeah, possibly going to see John Bernthal's Punisher come back.
Yes.
And his stuff. So you've got everything going on with the events of Echo bleeding into Daredevil, bleeding into Spider-Man. So it sounds like it could be a very good film if told correctly. Like I said, it keeps you street level. It keeps you grounded. Yeah. It keeps Spider-Man protecting the neighborhood. And I think that it'd be a really cool dynamic to see him and Daredevil together. I mean, especially just seeing Daredevil in this last She-Hulk episode. How agile he was.
Yes.
Imagine him with Spider-Man.
It was a very different side of Daredevil that I'm very excited to see too. Yeah. Because again, I'm curious of where they're gonna pick up. Because, Netflix did a whole series, and I know this is going to be separate. Yeah. But are we picking up from when, last time we saw him, it was in Defenders, the explosion happened, everyone thought he died, and then we find out he didn't. So are we picking up from there? Are we picking up years from now? So I'm super excited to see where it goes. I think, like you said, seeing him in the last episode of She-Hulk, just that different side of him, and partnering with the adult / college version of Spider-Man and everything that he's going through. I think that's going to be such a phenomenal dynamic.
Right. And not to mention that, not just to mention that, but also to mention the knowledge that Matt has on Kingpin. Wilson Fisk. Yeah. The knowledge he has on him, that is going to be pivotal knowledge for Spider-Man. And so just seeing them together, seeing them try to, if the rumors are true and he is indeed going to show up in, I'm not saying it's about to be a buddy cop film where they're together the entire time. Yeah. But I do believe that he possibly does make an appearance.
Has to.
And it's going to be so sweet seeing that appearance because they've already met each other in No Way Home. Now Spider-Man knows that they've met. However, Matt doesn't remember that they met.
So I think that's going to be interesting too.
Now, well, again, Spider-Man met Spider-Man met Matt Murdock. He did not meet Daredevil, but he did find something weird with how quickly he grabbed the brick. Right. He thought that was weird. So maybe Spider-Man, being as intelligent as he is, puts two and two together. Yeah. And, but Matt, being fucking Daredevil, puts two and two together and realizes, oh, this is a kid. This is whoever, Peter Parker.
And I do have to mention that I am very excited about Echo and how Echo might possibly bleed into Daredevil because their storylines and their people align as well. So
who was that? You said
Echo.
Oh yeah. No. Echo is definitely going to bleed into Born Again.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
He is going to be in Echo. Charlie Cox will be in the Echo series. Again, Echo and Daredevil's relationship in the comics is just like Daredevil with She-Hulk, as we saw in the She-Hulk series. They smash plenty of times, him and Echo, and their relationship is one that is also pivotal to Matt's. To Matt. So I guess we're gonna see him in the Echo series. I just love the fact that all these street level things are starting to connect, and it not just connect, but it's starting to add what we've all wanted, and that's Spider-Man in the mix. Putting Spider-Man in the mix of everything. So
also, last comment, I'm loving how they're really portraying Matt Murdock /
Oh,
Daredevil,
yeah,
and how like they call him Daredevil for a reason. Like, he may not see, but the man is suave.
Yeah.
The man is suave, and I like it because in the comics, it's very much like that. Like, he's not with just one partner. And even though he has these morals and these standards with himself, he's a man.
Yeah.
And I like it. I just like how they're portraying it. I think it's so funny.
Yeah, I thought, like I said, I thought he was great. I thought the way that they portrayed him in the MCU, I was worried at first. I was really worried, especially when you started hearing some of the things that he was going to be more lighthearted. He was going to be this, he was going to be that. I was like, oh, shit.
I was like,
but
damn it,
when we got him, oh, man, the way that he was, the way that they portrayed him, how agile he was, like just watching him, you know, dodging all of She-Hulk's punches and the power punch he did to the ground, just all those things. So I think it's going to be really dope seeing him again interact with Spider-Man and some of the other things too, moving into the Sony stuff with Spider-Man. This is where we talk about the Andrew Garfield, we talk about Tobey Maguire. As you know, we talked last week, guys, about the leaks from Madam Web. Now, I'm still very hesitant on anything that Sony's doing with Spider-Man because I just don't trust their universe. I still have my theory of what's going on with their universe. I still think it's going to culminate into the big ending, the Spider-Geddon thing that they're going to do. Spider-Geddon is basically, for those that don't know, Spider-Geddon is basically Secret Wars, but for the many different totems of Spider-Man. Spider-Man and women. So it's. I think that obviously that's where it's going, and I think that with the set leaks that we've gotten from Madam Web, we know that Madam Web is going to be a Terminator-esque film, and that they are going to be traveling back in time to I forget who it is. It's oh my gosh, I forget his name. Is going to be Ezekiel, oh, I forget Ezekiel's last name. Help me, chat. He's going to be traveling back in time to try to kill Peter Parker while he's still in the womb of his mother, or born of his mother. I don't know.
Like before he is.
Before he becomes Spider-Man. He's going to try to go back in time and kill Spider-Man. So that Madam Web, having the ability to pull all of the different Spider-Men from different universes together, she is going to get with some of them, and she's going to pull them in, and they're going to try to go save Peter. Now, that's a rough explanation of the plot, a very rough explanation of the plot of Madam Web,
but
and the things that are going on.
What you needed to hit to get the point across. So.
Yeah, it's so, and it's supposed to be leading up, like I said, up until Spider-Geddon, which is going to be, like I said, Spider-Man's basically Secret Wars, and we know that they are developing Spider-Man Freshman Year, which is a variant of Tom Holland's character. So we know that Spider-Man Freshman Year is being in development over at Marvel Studios right now.
Oh, that's going to be a thing?
Spider-Man Freshman Year is an animated thing. It's an animated series. It's happening.
I did not know about this. I'm not going to lie. I don't know much depth of Spider-Man outside of Peter Parker. So teach me something new.
Well, this is still Peter Parker. It's still Peter Parker. It's just going to be an animated version of Tom Holland's Spider-Man.
Okay.
But it is not Tom Holland's Spider-Man. It is a variant of Tom Holland's Spider-Man. They're using a variant of Tom Holland's Spider-Man. So what I'm saying with all of that is, if you've seen, even in Marvel Zombies, if you remember watching Marvel Zombies, we got a version of Spider-Man. He was in the he was wearing the Cloak of Levitation of Doctor Strange's. Everybody really loved that version of Spider-Man. Hell, even in the What If comics, that version of Spider-Man is dope. Anytime he has on the Cloak of Levitation, it is dope. So seeing Spider-Man take on that, so we would see that version of Spider-Man. We would possibly see the animated version from Freshman Year.
Okay.
And culminating into the Spider-Geddon thing that Sony is trying to do. I believe, don't quote me, I don't know. Again, I have no insiders information or anything like that, but just looking at other people talk about, other scoopers talking about Spider-Man and things like that, the consensus is that Marvel Studios, Kevin Feige, and Sony are working together, and even working together for the Spider-Geddon deal, to where the variant of the Freshman Year animated Spider-Man could show up in a live. Now, obviously, at that point, be live action. We're not going to see like a whole. What's that movie with the Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Right,
it's not going to be like animated with live action.
Yeah.
It's going to be
folks.
This ain't Enchanted. It's going to culminate into a live action film. And at the end of it, I believe that is Spider-Geddon, because if you look at what the Into the Spider-Verse 2 and 3 is called. I forget what 2 is called, but the third installment of Into the Spider-Verse is called Beyond the Spider-Verse.
Okay.
And if we're going beyond the Spider-Verse, I'm just thinking, if we're going beyond the Spider-Verse, then this has to be that Spider-Geddon-esque type deal here, where we're moving past he's breaking out of animation, and before anybody comes in and says, oh, well, they're not going to do that, they're not going to do an animated, they're not going to have Miles Morales break out of the animation and go into live action, blah, 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 blah. As I've said from day one, I do not believe that Sony retells Miles Morales' story. Why? No. Because you made $1 billion, not $1 billion, sorry. You made a, how much did they make? I think it was $1 million. $1 million. They made a mill off of
just his animation.
Just the animated version of Into the Spider-Verse.
I mean, they've had like rumors of who's gonna play, like if there were a live version, like people have put actors out there, but I don't think they've ever.
Yeah.
I don't think they've even really inched at the idea of doing.
No, they haven't. They haven't.
His storyline at all.
Besides the animated stuff, again, I think that they're not going to retell his story in live action, but they are going to have the animated character break into live action. I believe that is what's going to happen. And again, I think it's a possibility of something that could happen because we saw it in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
True.
When America and Doctor Strange were, for that minute and 29 seconds, were going through different universes, what did we see? We saw them break into a animated universe.
They did.
So, just as easy as they broke in and out of that animated universe, what's to say Miles Morales cannot break out of the animated universe and then culminating into a Spider-Geddon live-action film? I believe that is where we could possibly
I agree.
Be going, honestly.
I'll second that.
See what else Alex had to say here.
That's what I was looking at.
And that's another thing, too, as far as with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. Now, we've known since No Way Home that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire were going to come back, and that Sony is on board with doing an Amazing Spider-Man 3. Andrew Garfield is on board with doing an Amazing Spider-Man 3, which he deserves. Yes. But he also said that he's only going to come back if the story is right and it's something that he can fall in love with.
Yeah, which is good for him, because I feel like, anyone can be like, oh, just give me the money and let's just go. Mm-hmm. But I think he's just the biggest fan of Spider-Man, if not Marvel.
He's a huge Spider-Man fan.
You know what I mean? If not Marvel, and it's good for him for being like, we have to do this right. Mm-hmm. I think Andrew Garfield also deserves a third movie, because a lot of people didn't like his story, didn't like his version of Spider-Man. I thought it was necessary.
He's my favorite Spider-Man.
I thought it was necessary. I'm the youngest of 6 girls, so I grew up with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, but by the time I was at a point where I was like, oh, Spider-Man,
right.
Andrew Garfield was my guy. So I have a different love for him, and I'm super excited that he gets a chance to bring his story into full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think again, we've seen Andrew Garfield. We saw when he was cast as
Spider-Man, he showed up to San Diego Comic-Con dressed as Spider-Man. No one knew it was him. Then he took off the mask while asking a question, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, it's Andrew. We've even seen pictures of him when he was younger, dressed as Spider-Man for Halloween. Yeah. This has been a passion for him for a long time. He adores Spider-Man. He adores the character. And I understand, I know that you're all wrong, but I know people didn't like the Amazing Spider-Man 1 or 2.
I know so many people, they're like, and I'm like, man. What? And I love how we got, Gwen instead of Mary Jane. I just feel like it was just a completely different side of Spider-Man. And I think too, even though I'm not the biggest Spider-Man fan, I think I always will love it because it's Stan Lee's baby, and I feel like it just makes, we're just digging more into his head, into his brain, and so I'm like, ooh, I love it.
Yeah, and Andrew Garfield, like I said, just his portrayal of Spider-Man.
He did so well.
Man.
Oh my goodness. When he, in No Way Home, when he, catched MJ, and, just that flashback, I literally... Yeah. Was in tears.
See the part. Oh my God. I know a lot of people were into. So I'm crying in No Way Home, obviously the whole time. But the part for me with Andrew was I'm a dialogue guy. I am a person that when it comes to dialogue, you can drag me in on the dialogue alone. But the dialogue that they had on top of the building when they showed up to talk to Tom Holland's Spider-Man, and he tells him, and he goes.
he goes, you know, I've been where you are. I got bitter. I got rageful.
Yeah.
You know, I stopped holding my punches. You know, he's like, I lost. Just him explaining that while he's trying to fight back tears. He's like, I just don't want you to be like me. And he's trying to fight back tears while he's explaining his story to Tom. You know,
We don't get to see the events after Amazing Spider-Man 2.
We don't.
We all we know is that I think that that's what they're going to touch on in Amazing Spider-Man 3. They're going to touch on exactly what Andrew said. I got rageful. I got bitter. I stopped holding my punches back. We're going to see a much darker version of Spider-Man from Andrew's. Because, you know, again, I don't want to get too deep into the lore of Spider-Man and stuff like that. But when it comes to spider totems and things like that, there's something called the Other, and the Other is another one of those spider totems. And I believe that in the Other allows for these a certain spider totem person to be a bit more aggressive, to not, you know, it adds aggression to them. And I believe that Andrew Garfield may be the Other when it comes to the spider totem. Again, I'm not gonna. That's for another conversation. But I think that is a deeper conversation with Andrew Garfield and where they're going with this. And I think also the only other way that you make any of this shit work, make any of this shit make sense, is if the rumors are true and if Kevin Feige's hand is indeed over in the Sony Spider-Verse and helping them culminate this whole thing together.
I hope so. Especially if they plan on... Well, because as soon as they brought Tom into Marvel, like into the MCU world, I was just like, whoa. What is this going to mean for just Spider-Man in general? Because they've always been separate. They've always been their own worlds. They've never intertwined. And so I'm super excited. I hope, you know, Kevin Feige has an ear and a hand and a toe on it.
Oh, for sure.
Like, I hope he does.
For sure.
So we can get this right.
For sure. Like I said, I think that once if that's true and Feige's hand is in everything, then it's in good hands. But other than that, if Sony's doing it themselves, pray for everyone. So, like I said, that's great. We've got the Vincent D'Onofrio, Wilson Fisk as the main villain for Spider-Man 4. We've got the team up with Spider-Man and Daredevil. And like I said, it's just like the Devil Rain comics, to where we're going to see him as Mayor Wilson Fisk. So, but you know,
excited. Let
us know down below in the comments what you guys are thinking. How excited are you guys for Spider-Man 4 if it does indeed come out July 12, 2024? Are you excited for that? Is that something? Obviously, everybody's excited for Spider-Man. I think, you know, you just look at No Way Home.
They did such a good job.
Yeah, and not just how much money No Way Home made, but the re-release made so much money. And I want to put this into perspective. The re-release not only made $6 million on the re-release, but in that $6 million came from the $3 day. When they re-released Spider-Man, it was $3 day to get in the theaters. So you made $6 million on a $3 day. I think that shows you the power of the character, that people love Spider-Man. No matter what iteration, people love Spider-Man. I say this every time. When we saw No Way Home, when we went and saw it as the panel, at the end of every trailer, before the film showed, somebody, because we were in a packed theater, somebody yelled, "We don't care, we just want Spider-Man," and the whole theater just erupted in cheers. Because that's the impact that Spider-Man has on a culture. That's the impact that the character has just on pop culture in general.
And I think he is so relatable. And everything you just said, yes, I 1,000% agree.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
I think it's gonna be amazing. I'm super excited.
So you guys let us know down below what you guys are thinking of that, and we'll move into the next topic here. And that next topic that we're gonna move into is the MCU pushbacks. Now, we talked last week about the Blade drama. Now, just to give a little synopsis here, a quick synopsis of what's going on with Blade. Last week, Blade was just needing a new director. Got a new writer. We heard Mahershala Ali was frustrated. We know that, he was mad about the 90-page script that had 2 lackluster fight scenes in it. Boom. So they put it on pause, and they were like, okay, we got a new writer, which the writer was, I know his last name is DeMeo. I forget his first name, but he also wrote, why am I not remembering things today? DeMeo wrote, Chat, what did DeMeo write before they pulled him into this? He's written some things for the MCU already, but they had pulled him in to rewrite the entire script. So I said last week, remember when we talked about Blade. I said, if you think that shit's coming out in 2023,
it's not.
No way. There was no way possible that was coming out in 2023.
Yeah.
You're rewriting the script. You got your lead actor frustrated. You lost your director. You still don't have a new director.
Yeah, like, there's just no way.
You got people were throwing out Michael Giacchino's name because after we saw Werewolf by Night, everybody's like, why didn't Michael Giacchino do it? Well, Michael Giacchino came out and said, no, I'm not touching Blade. He said, well, he didn't say it like that. He wasn't saying like, oh, I'm not touching Blade. He was just saying like, I'm too busy right now. The scheduling doesn't fit up. I can't do Blade.
It's just, I wouldn't do you justice.
Right.
Yeah.
So now you don't have Michael Giacchino. That's another name people are throwing out there. That's not happening. They still don't even have a director for the film itself. You got DeMeo rewriting it. You still got Mahershala Ali, as I said, when they... So let me now fast forward a little bit more. Let's fast forward to now this week, where it came out that Blade was put on pause. The film is being paused.
Yes.
The production is being paused. They're looking for their director still. DeMeo's still writing and everything like that. Are we seeing a situation where... Because, I said this too. I said that we could be possibly seeing a situation where Mahershala Ali himself even walks. Now, people might say, oh, he's under contract. He's under contract with stipulations, though.
Yeah.
There are stipulations to those contracts.
We haven't even... We literally haven't even started.
No.
Like,
no,
we've
done nothing with it.
They literally threw away. So at this point, we're on ground zero.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to walk, he could walk. Because there's nothing prominent right now.
Yeah, no, he could walk. He could walk if he wanted to walk, because if things are not going the way that he has felt that they were going, or they're not going the way that he wanted them to originally go. Because I look at it this way. I said this when we first talked about the Blade drama. If I'm Mahershala Ali, I'm just as frustrated, bro. Why am I frustrated? Because you announced this project in 2019 at D20 at San Diego Comic-Con when they announced this. That was the first time they brought Mahershala Ali out on stage. He had the Blade hat on. He's like, I'm gonna be Blade, blah blah blah. Everybody was hype. Everybody was dope. I was excited. Boom. You announced this shit in 2019. If I'm Mahershala Ali and I'm a 2-time Academy Award winner, Oscar-winning actor. I think he's maybe one of the only ones in the MCU with that can puff his chest out and say, I'm a 2-time award Academy winner. Right. I think his expectation was, I'm coming into the MCU and I'm going to have one of these dope-ass MCU films. I'm going to have my version of a No Way Home. I'm going to have my version of a Civil War, of a Black Panther film. Yes, he should. As he should. But as Blade, that ain't what the nigga's getting.
No.
That ain't what he's getting at all.
And it's sad. Here is the thing, though, and one of our lovely chatters did say, KevZ247 said that he saw an article where he said that he was dedicated to the role and playing an active part in the writing in the crypt now. So like you said, with his stamina in Hollywood and what he's, done for Hollywood and just for the Black community, as much as he could walk, he could not. He could be very focused on, we don't have a director right now, so let's focus on the writing. Let's make sure this is where we want it to be. So all the director has to do is just come in and direct. Because I wouldn't even be surprised if he has a hand.
Oh, I bet you. I want to throw this on the table too. I damn guarantee you, in Mahershala's frustration, he called Feige.
Oh, I'm pretty sure he did.
He either called Feige or Feige called him, and I do believe that is also one of the halts in production. Yeah. Is because Feige is probably taking a look back at I need to be more involved. And again, these are rumors. I'm not on set of any of this Marvel stuff, but we do know that Feige, from our understanding, was not really on set. Feige wasn't on set with the She-Hulk stuff, and that's its own disaster.
Even with Thunder, or with Thor: Love and Thunder.
Oh yeah, with Thor: Love and Thunder, he was not. He said on the red carpet, it's a Taika film. That was the first time you had ever really heard that. He said it's a Taika film. Yeah. And to add to what KevZ247 said, not sure why, when it comes to strong black male leads, Marvel just can't get it right. Here's the thing too. If you look, this week, some things have been coming out with Benedict Cumberbatch. some of the shit that we saw in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, he said he had to fight for that to be in the film.
I'm not surprised.
He said he feels a protection over the character of Doctor Strange to where other people don't see. You know, like the director may not have that same feelings he have, or the writer may not have the same, but he feels an ownership over the character to where he fought for things to be in. This is where our, like you said, the strong black lead characters like Mahershala need to be stepping up, and I feel he has stepped up and said, hey, bro, nah, this ain't right. This ain't cool.
This is not it.
Like, I'm fighting for this character at this point.
Yeah.
Like, I need to see this character doing this. I need to see the character doing that.
But I think it's amazing, too, because it shows how much time has changed. Because if we, like, go back in time and we look back into, like, Iron Man, and you see how, you know, the character for Rhodey changed. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, Terrence tried to stand his ground and was like, look, I don't think you are portraying this character correctly. He's not just a sidekick. He's going to be a major role in this man's life and in this man's timeline and his legacy, and they just weren't having it. And so I think it is a beautiful time, you know, the fact that, I mean, it's frustrating that we still have to fight, but the fact that he has that control and being like, you know what, and also that's that humbleness and that patience of either, like you said, he either hit up Kevin or Kevin hit up him, and they had that conclusion of, don't walk, let's figure this out, I will be hands-on. You know, you help with the writing, and let's do this right. Mm-hmm. So I'm not mad that we're getting setbacks.
Yeah, and you know, from what we heard too with Mahershala Ali is that he didn't like the original script. Like, he didn't like the original script, and that him and the director kept bumping heads on things, on creative decision making. Yeah. And again, if Benedict Cumberbatch can stand on the red carpet or stand on set and demand certain things be in there, and then you put them in there, even though he did say some things you still may not see that I petitioned for to be in the film, you still may not see them. But if he can do that and get the things that he wants in the film, then what's the problem with Mahershala?
There's no reason why Mahershala should be going through, you know, hoops and all that just to make sure something's right, because I am a huge fan of Blade. Like,
Blade, man, it has to be done right.
It has to be done. Blade was literally one of the first characters in Marvel that I was ever introduced to. Like, my dad let me watch that movie literally when I was Wesley. When I was 5. Like, it's just always been one of my favorites. And so when I saw that they were gonna redo it and bring it into the universe with my brain just went blank. But with Marshall, like, I need it to be right.
It has to be. It has to be because especially looking at Werewolf by Night. Yeah. Now, I know I get it. It was black and white. You can do a lot more with blood and gore when it's in black and white. But if they were willing to take those steps with Werewolf by Night, those same steps need to be taken with Blade.
Yes.
And I think that, again, that's what Mahershala is looking at. He's looking at these different things. He's looking at the script. He's being frustrated with the 90-page script with 2 lackluster fight scenes. Yeah. 2 fight scenes.
And that's the thing. Like, we're not going to do Blade how we're doing Wolverine right now. Like, Blade is a fighter. He's a warrior. Man. He's a samurai. Like, we have to touch on it.
It's like Stamina MC just said, Blade is important to the culture. Yeah, it's important to the culture.
He's so important to the culture.
It's I'm going to touch on what Cornelia said up there. I'm a pull a Kanye from Hurricane Katrina. Marvel does not care about black people.
I saw that and
Actors,
chuckled.
Fans, screw us. And that is true. And it's frustrating. It's a tough thing to say. It's not really tough to say it's true because it is true, but it's one of those things where it's like you're looking at Marvel and you're looking at this whatever fascination they have with either Black Death or getting rid of black characters or not making black characters as important as they should be or whatever the fuck it may be. That is true. That's a true statement. Marvel, they even if they do care, your actions speak so much louder than your words. Because you're not showing us that you care.
I mean, Black Panther was so successful because every cast member, everyone was black.
Exactly.
90% of the cast, writers, and producers
it was for the culture.
Black, so it was for the culture. So I just feel like there shouldn't be. I mean, if we need to get an all-black cast, Kevin Feige.
If it needs, then
that's what we just need to do.
Like Raymond just said, if we need to do a black writer, a black director,
then
make that happen.
Make it happen.
Make it happen. Because, you know, and I get it, these are comics. These are not, but I want black storytellers telling black stories.
Yes. And I think at the end of the day, people say, oh, these are just comics. And I always say, because like I said it before, I'm a huge Stan Lee simp and a Marvel simp for a reason. He's always made it clear, like, these characters that are in these comics, they're not specifically white, they're not specifically straight, they're not specifically anything. These can be anybody. We're all part of these stories. And so, like you said, yeah, like it is, even though these are comics, it's for our culture, it's for our people, not just for the MCU, but for us and for anyone that is, you know, black, brown, colored. It doesn't matter. Like, it's for us and to tell our story. And I think,
yes, that's his name. Sorry.
even going back, you know, when I mentioned the whole Echo thing, like, yeah, as a woman and as a person of color, like, I'm excited for Echo. I hope they do Echo right. I hope they do her justice, because she is a big
I'm excited for it too.
You know what I mean? She's a big part of MCU as well, but the fact that they found someone that was indigenous and who was actually deaf, you know what I mean? I think that is such a huge thing, and it's crazy how Marvel like hits the ball in some things and then completely drops it. And I feel like when it comes to black people, they just completely drop it sometime. And
it feels like when it comes to black representation,
yes,
we got that in Black Panther, sure, but when it comes to black representation, it feels like it's just, the ball's being missed. And I'm excited for it. I don't know if I'm excited for the Echo show in general, but I am excited for the representation aspect of it, because I am Native American. I am black and Native American, and having those strong Native American roots in my family, and having that representation fulfilled out on the screen, like, that's something I want to see. I want to see my Native side represented well on the screen.
But I'm also just excited about the character. I love, you know, all female Marvel characters. I think they're so underrated in such certain ways. You know what I mean? And you know, Echo is. Her story alone is just so cool. So I hope they really do portray her right, and I hope they get Blade right. I hope we can get it together. I hope we can find us a director, you know. And
not just Blade. We're talking even future black characters that come in.
Just any black character that we're gonna
do them justice.
Do them justice. They're talking about doing an Iron Wars. Okay, you know, are we gonna do Rhodey justice? Are we gonna do him justice? Are we gonna do, you know?
And I want to say yes. And the only reason I want to say yes is because of the shifts and changes we're seeing.
Yeah.
Marvel's listening. We saw the series are now being changed to specials. We're seeing that the Armor Wars movie, it went from a series to a feature film in theaters. We're seeing the halt in production on things, the pushbacks and things. I think, again, the question was posed last week: is Kevin Feige being spread too thin? And last week I said, I don't know if it's being spread too thin as more so allocating his time to the proper projects. But no, fuck that. He is being spread too thin. He's being spread too thin because it has been put. Well, let me before I even go into that whole spill, because there is something I want to say on that. Let me show this first. This is the the stuff that's coming out. Or the things that got canceled, not canceled, pushback, rather.
Right.
And it starts with, obviously we know Wakanda Forever is not being touched. That comes out November 11th. Quantumania is still February 17th. Those ones are all still the same, but the things that got pushed here are Blade, obviously, to September 6th, 2024. Maybe. We'll see. Maybe. It could possibly be done by then. Deadpool 3 delayed till November 8th, 2024. And you've got Fantastic Four delayed until February 14th, 2025. You've got the an untitled Marvel. Well, actually, I've got some of the things here. So let me say the ones that we've got. We've got What If Season 2 coming out early 2023. We've got Ant-Man Quantumania February 17th, February 14th.
2023.
2023.
Yeah, that's gonna be our first movie.
That's February. That one's not. That's Fantastic Four. Ant-Man is February 17, 2023. Secret Invasion is spring 2023. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is May 5th, 2023. Echo is summer of 2023. Loki Season 2 is summer of 2023. The Marvels is July 8th, 2023. X-Men 97. Yes, I did see that stamina where you put that in there. That Bo DeMeo. That's who I couldn't remember his first name. He's writing on X-Men 97, so they pulled him over for Blade.
Oh, did they now?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. I didn't know that. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Ironheart is coming fall 2023. Agatha House of our Coven of Chaos is winter 2023 or 2024, one of those. Daredevil Born Again is spring 2024. Captain America New World Order is May 3rd, 2024. Thunderbolts, July 26th, 2024. Marvel Zombies is expected 2024 on Disney+. And then we just said that about Deadpool, November 8th. And we got Fantastic Four, February 14th. Avengers Kang Dynasty, May 2nd. An Untitled Project, the 25th. Another Untitled Project, November 7th. And these are all 2025. Another Untitled Project, February 13th for 2026. Secret Wars for May 1st, 2026. Untitled Project for July 2026. And another Untitled Project, November 6th, 2026. So, when you hear all that shit...
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's a lot, bruh.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
In 1 year.
It's
each year.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot culminating over a span of 3
Years that you're trying to put out that many projects. So, I'm not upset about the pushbacks. And the reason I'm not upset about the pushbacks is because look at Phase 4. Mm-hmm. Look at how much shit they tried to push out in Phase 4. It became a thing where it was now quantity over quality.
Yeah.
And the quantity over the quality is a miss.
It's a miss.
They dropped the ball in Phase 4. But, like we talked last week when we were discussing, you and I after the chat, I think they did that on purpose because we're going into different spectrums of the MCU. We're not, sticking to just one ground area. The first 3 phases were protecting Earth, and now we're going into something deeper. We're going something past that. Do I think they dropped the ball on Phase 4? Yes. Do I think they slowed down and did the whole quantity over quality for a reason to a certain extent? I think so, because again we're going into different spectrums. But yeah, right. I think Kevin is definitely spread too thin. I think Phase 4 was a huge eye opener, not just for him, but for
definitely for him, I believe.
MCU world to say, hey, like, if we want to do this, we have to do this right, or else we are going to. We're not going to. However they want to end this or continue this, it's not going to be right.
Yeah, and I think that Kevin took a hard look in the mirror and said to himself, okay, I need to be more involved with certain projects. But at the end of the day, the man is only one man. He can't duplicate
everywhere.
Himself. He can't be everywhere and things like that. Exactly.
There's that's why it really bothers me when
people say, well, Kevin Feige needs to get this shit together. Here's the thing about it. It ain't Kevin Feige.
It's not.
It's not Kevin Feige.
Team, let me tell you. It's a whole ecosystem, guys.
This is what I said this last week. You look at the shit with Eternals and Chloe Zhao. Kevin Feige and Chloe Zhao were at odds on the set of Eternals. There were things he wanted in that she didn't. There were things she wanted in that he was like, no.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, Chloe Zhao got what she wanted. And
as a result,
Eternals at the time was the worst critically rated Marvel film.
But like you told me last week, maybe he possibly did that on purpose to show her.
That's what I'm getting at, yeah.
That he let her do that. Same thing with Jessica Gao. I think he let Jessica Gao write She-Hulk so fucking terribly because it was just like, I'm going to let these people sink.
Yeah.
I'm going to let them sink on their own because at the end of the day, yes, this is our projects, but at the end of the day, I don't have as much creative control as he once had. Kevin Feige does not have the power that he once had before.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at, and I said this too, looking at Jessica Gao, could he have been looking at Jessica Gao and looking at the culture of She-Hulk that She-Hulk was and things like that with the conversation surrounding She-Hulk? How does he then go in? Now I disagree with this, but I've seen people saying this. I disagree when I say I disagree to the point where I say bullshit. He's the greatest producer of all time. It should just be one of the things, if he says it, you need to take into consideration what Kevin Feige has said. He built the cinematic universe.
Right.
So I think with Jessica Gao could have been a thing where he didn't want to overstep, or because at the end of the day, could he have been called, Kevin Feige's a misogynist because he's not letting the women write a woman show, and you know how people are.
Yeah, nowadays at different
all that
times,
type of shit.
yes.
So I just think that he let those projects sink. But I also think that he's taken a step back and looking at Phase 4 and looking at Mahershala and looking at the future of Phase 5 and Phase 6, where he's got to say, we've got to push some of this stuff back. We've got to allocate our time a little bit better. And we've got to start putting the quality over the quantity.
Because it's starting to show. Because Phase 4 was like all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
Like all over. I think the only thing that really prospered out of Phase 4 was Loki and WandaVision.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You got, for me personally, now obviously your mileage may vary.
Yeah, of course.
I think WandaVision, Loki, No Way Home, Shang-Chi, Werewolf by Night. The buck stops there.
Yeah.
I mean, Falcon and Winter Soldier. Now, a lot of this stuff was privy. Its demise was privy to to COVID. You know, our Falcon Winter Soldier got pushed back because of COVID. You know, there were things going on with COVID to where they had to change the story up and take things out. You know, originally the story for Falcon Winter Soldier had something to do with a virus. It was supposed to be a virus that was going around, but it was too close to home.
Yeah,
it was too close to home at that point.
Well, and there was even some points of the show where I was like, oh, this is very parallel to what's going on right now.
Exactly.
And that's when we were like just really getting out of everything and things were still kind of like scary, but we were getting kind of a little unscared. So yeah, I mean, there wasn't a lot that prospered out of Phase 4, so I definitely agree. I think he took that season to kind of lean back and be like, okay, we as a collective whole, as the MCU, got to do better, and we have to put quantity over quality.
Yeah,
we also left out Moon Knight too. Moon Knight was...
Oh yeah, Moon Knight too. And again, your mileage may vary on Moon Knight. If Moon Knight was a hit for you, that's fantastic. I love that.
I liked
that's
it.
Fun.
And I'm not going to lie, I did not really know... I didn't know anything about Moon Knight until I watched it, and after I remember watching the first episode, I was cracking up afterwards, because I was like, you did not just throw this in my face. Like, I just know MCU.
Right.
Like, hold on now. And I did, like, my whole research. And I'm a very huge advocate for mental health. And just the fact that it is based off of mental health. It was just like, whoa, this is so crazy. So
they did a good job on Moon Knight.
They did a really good job. There's rumors that he's coming back. I know that's, like, not what we're talking about right now. But there are rumors that he's coming back. And Moon Knight is coming back. And I'm so excited.
Yeah. No, I think, too, you know, with what they did with Moon Knight, knowing Moon Knight, it could have been better. Knowing his comics the way you know.
And like I said, you have more knowledge on that one, because I never got into the comics. I didn't even know Moon Knight was a thing until the show. And,
it could be so much better. He's so much more violent than what they show.
Well, it's like there's 3 different sides of him though, right? So isn't Jake?
Mm-hmm.
He's like
Jake's the more. I mean, Matt are Mark's the mercenary. Then you've got Stephen Grant, who is
the sweet innocent baby face boy.
Yeah, what they made. What they made Stephen in the show, and then you've got Jake Lockley, who is the cab driver. The Stephen Grant in the comics is more of the rich Bruce Wayne type.
Really?
Yes, and then
he wasn't so like. All over the place.
Not like they did in the MCU. Jake Lockley is the cab driver. He believes he's a cab. Well, he is a cab driver, and he has his ear to the street on things that are going on. Then you got Mark Spector, who is the mercenary. You know, things like that. So he's got the 3 different personalities that Khonshu controls. All 3 of them. Khonshu does control. I mean, he's the god of Moon Knight. So you know, you've got Moon Knight could have been better. Miles may vary on Moon Knight. It is what it was. But to touch on what Cornelius just said there, House of the Dragon and the whole Game of Thrones franchise shows you that you don't need quality or quantity. It's the storytelling that matters. Game of Thrones released 1 season a year, 2011 to 2019, and that's so true. That's 9 years culminating in 8 seasons.
Yeah,
that you got with the 8 years in the 8 seasons there.
And they packed a lot. They
did, and there's a lot of shit that goes down
and
in
just
Game of
Thrones. We'll get into this later on tonight. I have not watched Game of Thrones. I probably watched like maybe half of the first season, but life got carried away, and I just haven't been able to sit down. But I have watched House of Dragons, and it is a lot to pack in. So I'm like, if this is anything like Game of Thrones,
but see, that's what I'm saying. Marvel has not hit on that streaming level.
Yeah.
They hit, in my opinion, with Werewolf by Night. And I saw Cornelius said maybe, 4 specials, 2 series. I don't even know if I want any more series, because imagine She-Hulk being told in a 1.5 to 2 hour special as a comedy type legal special. To me, that shit could have been so much better than the poo-poo doo-doo dog shit that we got for 9 weeks.
True.
Because bro, you will never convince me. No one will ever convince me that 9 weeks was a worth it 9 weeks. You did away with the whole blood plot. I actually, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not getting into She-Hulk. I'm not getting into She-Hulk. But yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no.
Yeah. No. I can't get this 9 weeks back. And I agree with you. It was not worth it. It was not worth a. You could, if you were gonna do that to me, you could have put that in a collective whole and just give it to me at once and let me be done and over with.
First impressions are lasting impressions.
Yeah,
bro.
and let me just be done and over with, and like, you know, like don't try to keep me intrigued, knowing that I'm going to be intrigued.
And the funny thing is, I said after episode 1, I said they should have released 2 episodes at once, and the reason they should have released 2 episodes, I mean, you look at. I know you're not a Star Wars fan, but for those of you out there, I'm not watching Andor. I can't. I cannot. As a massive Star Wars fan, I can't do it. But you look at Andor. I did watch the first episode. They released 3 episodes when Andor dropped. They released 3 episodes day 1.
Yeah.
The first episode, I didn't like. It was slow. I was like, I can't watch the next 3 or the next 2. I can't. I was like, I can't do it.
I feel like, I mean, hey, don't get my neck for this chat, but that's my personal thing about Star Wars. I think it's too slow for me, and I just can't. But I feel like it's that type of story that you need that slowness, or else when it
really depends though, man.
sense.
It really depends, because if you go back to the originals that George Lucas made and with episodes 4 through 6, episode 4, those aren't slow films.
No,
they're not slow films. It's like, I mean, you get what's going on at episode 4 literally opens with a mass Star Destroyer attacking a rebel blockade. Like, it opens with Darth Vader
like
capturing the princess. Like not capturing, not knowing that's his daughter, but capturing Princess Leia. Like, it's again. But with Andor, it started so slow. I was like, I can't do it. But the reason I even brought any of that up was to say, imagine if Andor only would have released that 1 episode instead of the following 2 that one time. That one day.
Yeah, no, that would have been.
People would have rioted. People would have been like, what the fuck is this shit? Same thing, I think that was She-Hulk's downfall. You only released the 1 episode and everyone bitched about that 1 episode.
Yes.
People were so upset about that first episode. But had you released maybe 2 episodes at once.
But people were bitching about it before.
Oh,
as soon as they saw
bitching.
the CGI and how she looked, they were bitching.
People went into the show with preconceived agendas.
Yes.
They went into the show with preconceived agendas,
and
as
then
I've said.
but what captured them was the whole Daredevil. And then the fact that he just was at the very end, and then how they set him up, it was just like a...
And yeah. No, it was.
Like, what am I supposed to do with this?
It was. And what Stamina MC just said there, I'm sorry, Stamina MC, what Cornelius just said, supposedly Andor is good. I've heard that. Supposedly Andor is good, but he hasn't gotten around to watching it. This is what I'll say. as a Star Wars fan that I am, I have been looking, bro. I've been looking at all the shit going on with Andor and all that type of stuff. Because I week to week, I'm like, okay, should I watch this episode? Let's see what the masses are saying. The masses are saying, it's great, it's this, it's that, it's the best Star Wars show. Some people are even calling it better than Mandalorian. Doubt it. But some people are calling it better than The Mandalorian.
I heard Mandalorian was it.
Mandalorian's dope. But here's the thing. It still ain't doing the numbers. Go look up the analytics for Andor. People aren't watching that shit.
And at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to, is those
numbers.
And like, you going back to She-Hulk, if you would have saw that first episode, going into the series, knowing that people were bitching about it, that first episode, people were just tearing it apart. You should have been like, okay, making an executive decision, we're just going to release 2 at a time.
Yeah.
Shorten this path so that we can maybe take the little time that we've taken off of this and focus on other projects. Yeah. Because this is not working out.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's my, not to make this a Star Wars thing, but that's what I was saying. It's just like the word of mouth. Word of mouth is a really big thing when it comes to
it will
any
forever
of this.
Be a thing.
Yeah, first impressions are lasting impressions. Yeah. So if you release something, like you look at Werewolf by Night, first impressions were phenomenal. So it got people hyped for it before we even saw it.
Yeah, I was going to say the trailer alone, because it was so different. People thought, a lot of people thought that it was going to be more of a movie, like a mini special or a short or something. And so the fact that it was a special, that I don't know. Mm-hmm. I think they just hit the nail on that one.
They do.
Bravo.
And the last thing is that people are still talking about the Star Wars thing. The last thing I'll say about Star Wars 2 with Andor is, writing Andor name, I forget his name. Jeez, man, my brain is off today. I think my brain is just
it's raining
crazy.
Here,
There's
so
so
that's
much
probably
I've got
not
going
helping.
on today. But
Anyway, he also wrote Rogue One, and I adore Rogue One, bro. Rogue One is
By far, it's in my top 3 favorite Star Wars
films. I mean, Empire Strikes Back is my ultimate favorite, but I think maybe Rogue One might beat Revenge of the Sith for me and be my second favorite Star Wars film. But
Tony Gilroy.
Tony Gilroy, that's right.
Gilroy.
Tony Gilroy wrote
Andor, and the thing with Andor is he said, you know, don't expect to see don't expect to see Darth Vader, don't expect to see this, don't expect to see anybody, which I can appreciate. Don't expect to see just a flashy cameo that doesn't involve the story. Okay. I can appreciate that. But here's the thing too. If you're writing a story about the rebellion rising at the time that the Empire has already taken over, what do you mean you don't expect to see, like, Emperor Palpatine? What do you mean? He still controls the Senate.
There's still expectations that you have to hit.
Yes.
Even though you're telling us not to expect what we would majorly expect. Because at the end of the day, all this is a story. All these are universes. They're all going to combine of some sort, so it has to make sense. And, you know, going back to the pushbacks, I think that's another reason why they had to slow down, because they're like, how we have so many stories that are going to be intertwining, and it has to make sense.
Right.
Because Marvel fans, they're quick. They are so quick to be like, oh, whoa. But what about this? And I think that's another reason why I'm not just excited, but very nervous about the reviews for Black Panther 2, because I know people are going to be watching like a hawk of how we proceed from here. You know what I mean? Especially because aren't we getting a series? Are we getting a series?
For who?
Wakanda?
Supposedly.
We're
supposed to get a Wakanda series and an Okoye series, but I'm hoping those get turned to specials, and I hope they take Ryan Coogler off of it.
Even though he's still going to be on it, I'm sure.
Really? You don't want no?
Man, listen. We're gonna get to the. We're about to get to. We're about to get to the Black Panther.
Why must you always stir the pot?
we're about to get to the
Black Panther stuff, man.
I
have issues.
Guys, I feel like he's gonna hurt my feelings on this one. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm just like, I love everything and everybody. We should all just hold hands.
I just have issues with what they're doing and with Black Panther and Marvel, but we're gonna get to that. But yeah, like I said, leading it back to what I was saying. I think Kevin Feige is just realizing that we've got Phase 5, Phase 6. We've got to get back to that Marvel formula. We've got to get back to the formula that works. We've got to get back to making people happy, because the fans are not particularly happy at the moment, and mainly it's the majority of like the hardcore sweaty fans that are like, hey, that's what are we doing with this, you know? And like Cornelia said, I thought the biggest slap in the face in She-Hulk was the troll. You trolled us the entire fucking show, bro.
Oh my goodness.
Just for her to pop out, go in the writer's room, and those were some of the actual writers for the show, to go in the writer's room.
The whole fourth one, oh my.
Like, it wasn't funny. It wasn't funny. Kevin Feige. And I said this after we watched She-Hulk. You know, Jessica Gal did an interview. They asked Kevin Feige to show up and be himself in the. He said no.
No, absolutely not.
And the reason he said no is because Feige's thinking to himself, fuck that. I'm not putting myself on this. I'm not doing this. Now, is that Kevin Feige's real reasoning? Probably not. That's what I think, though. I think because him and Jessica Gal were at odds. They did not see eye to eye on the show. So I think that was him saying, no, bro, I'm not. This is not the direction I want the show to go.
And I honestly don't like how they did my homeboy Scar.
Oh. Jesus.
I don't like how they did my boy. Here's my thing. My dad, when he introduced me to Marvel, he introduced me to Blade, Hulk, and the Thing. And because they're all big and they all are muscular, my dad's a huge gym rat and did the whole weightlifting thing. So those were like the 3 characters I was introduced to into the MCU, and I remember Hulk was one of the first comic books I've ever read, and I did the whole War of Hulk. And the fact that they did him so dirty, they didn't even finish his like hairline. And they literally, I don't know where, I read it somewhere, they were like, literally, we didn't have enough time, we didn't have the budget, and we were so over it, like we just didn't finish it.
But you know what? Fuck that. And the reason I say fuck that is because
Before She-Hulk, months before She-Hulk came out, the plot leaked, bro.
It did.
We talked about it on this show. For those of you that have been here, you know, we talked about the plot leak for She-Hulk. We talked about it months before the show came out.
Months before you guys.
And one of the things that I was so excited about was the appearance of Scar. I was like, man, they're bringing Scar in because that means that we're possibly pushing toward World War Hulk. We can get rid of the stupid, dumb, smart Hulk shit. He can be Savage Hulk again.
With Bruce.
So this whole idea that, oh, well, we didn't have time. No, fuck that. You knew months prior that you were going to do Scar. You knew you were doing Scar. So why not put a better effort for, like, bro, I don't know what the fuck is going on with this.
Just his whole appearance, like, not even just his hairline, but just his appearance of just looking intimidated and just timid and small. And I'm just like, this is not what I remember. And if this was regular Hulk, he would be pissed. Like, I want a Hulk smash something now.
Yeah, no, this is it was bad. You know, somebody did they fixed him. They put the actual hair on.
Like, look at my boy in them. Look at my boy. He was. I'm not even gonna lie. Can we have an honesty moment? He was one of my first crushes.
Scar?
Yeah.
Scar is dope.
Between him and you want to know the other one? Stuart Little. I don't know what it is about that little mouse. He was just so cute and so sweet, and I was just like, I love you. And if I was a mouse, I would marry you.
I definitely love the first Stuart Little.
Yeah, or rat, whatever he is. But yeah, I was so for it. But yeah, Scar was one of my first crushes, guys. That was it, and the fact that they just did him so dirty was not okay.
Yeah, I can't find the picture of him.
But I feel like they have not done Hulk justice from the jump. I mean, they did something when they brought good old, you know.
Yeah, I can't find that
when they restarted doing the MCUs, I think they started portraying him somewhat better. But I don't know. I feel like they've just always dropped the ball.
No, they had Hulk fine until the Russo brothers didn't know what to do with him in Endgame and made him Smart Hulk.
Yeah,
it was fun for the film, sure,
great. Ooh, ha ha ha, LOL.
Yeah,
it's fun for that time.
I'm over it.
Bring back Savage Hulk. I don't want to see, and which actually brings us into the third topic here, which is Harrison Ford being cast as Thunderbolt Ross as Red Hulk. So we're going to jump to the Hulk stuff here. We know that from D23, if you remember D23, Marvel wanted to announce Harrison Ford then, but Lucasfilm, Star Wars stepped in and said, "Fuck that, no." You can't announce him as the Hulk right now because that's going to take away the shine from our announcement, Indiana 5.
Yeah,
you know? They're like,
that's right.
Indiana Jones 5. Like we need to be announcing him as Indiana Jones because if you guys go on stage Marvel and announce him as Thunderbolt Ross Red Hulk, that's going to take all the shine away from Indiana Jones 5. Yeah. No one's going to give a flying fuck.
Especially since this is number 5, y'all.
Exactly. Like no one's going to care.
How many tombs can we go into, guys?
Right. And then you had Jeff Snyder, and everybody should know who Jeff Snyder is. Jeff Snyder is a very credible insider. I mean, most of the things when Jeff Snyder leaks something, I honestly think he's doing a lot of this shit on purpose to piss Marvel off because he is such a credible insider and he has so much knowledge. He can, the things he drops normally come out to be true. So we're hearing Harrison Ford has, in fact, been cast as General Thunderbolt Ross, who is expected to make his first appearance in Captain America 4.
Now, that's exciting. Sorry, I'm Raymond 200. Is this the 2000? Is this the guy that's always... Was this the same guy that was on our butt last week? He said, but remember, guys, we can't complain about Marvel according to Marvel fans. And some people I shall not name. Trust the plan. Kevin has a plan. He does have a plan. And I stay true to that.
I trust Kevin.
I do.
I'm a huge Kevin Feige fan. Obviously, everybody here knows that. But I am not above telling Marvel they're wrong when they're fucking wrong.
No, I'm not either. But I do trust the plan.
Yeah, I trust the plan to a degree. I trust the plan. What you're doing with Black Panther, I don't trust any of that.
Listen, I'm just gonna say this as a woman. That's the only thing I trust right now is Marvel and the plan. So Kevin, we gotta do something. Okay.
Yeah, I trust K Feigs. I know what he's doing, Papa Feige's doing, and everything like that. But it's just with the unless they do something different with T'Challa, no.
And I know you're so ready to get into that. I know you're so ready.
Oh
to hear
man,
that.
I am. I really am. I have a lot to say about that. Some of the stuff that's come out this week about it. But moving on with the Harrison Ford stuff, him being cast as General Thunderbolt Ross. Obviously Harrison Ford is now going to be replacing the late great. I don't want to call him great, but the late William Hurt, who has been playing General Thunderbolt Ross since 2008 in the MCU.
Yeah. But what a great. Shoot, I don't like to use the word replacement.
No, it's a
I think it's just a great other. It's a great duplicate.
It's a good, yes, it's a very good, because listen, I don't want to make it seem like I'm sitting here like, oh, well, they won't recast T'Challa, but they'll don't get me wrong.
They have to.
Don't get me wrong.
They just have to.
I like
Sorry,
I like the fact that we have Harrison Ford in this role. I like the fact that because Harrison Ford, as I've said before, he is that grumpy, get off my fucking lawn old man.
He is.
That is him. And I want to see him take on that role as Thunderbolt Ross and see him being, but here's the thing too. I can definitely tell you, I don't think that Harrison Ford went to Marvel and said, I want to be that General Ross character. No, that's definitely not something that happened. He definitely did not go to Marvel. I definitely believe they backed the motherfucking money truck up for him to do this
and dumped it.
Yeah, because I for them to get Harrison Ford over here. You have to remember, this is a character. This is somebody who played Han Solo, who didn't even want to play Han Solo.
True.
Who asked Star Wars to kill him off, so they did, so that he did not have to play him anymore.
He said, "I'm so over this."
Yeah, he. That's just not something that I could see him really wanting to do, and I can see him entering this role. Now, here's the thing: can you see Harrison Ford doing like the motion capture for any of this? Like, can you see him getting up on the stilts like Josh Brolin did with Brolin did for being Thanos?
Yeah. No, I don't think he's going. Will he be as interactive? Possibly. I don't know. If you're willing to do all that for Indiana Jones 5, come on now.
That's true too.
You gotta.
That is
I feel
true
like
too.
if you're gonna be that. I feel like he's also at an age where he's like, I'm not going to commit to something if I'm not going to put myself into it. Now, do I see himself doing all of the full-on action stuff? Probably not. But I see him definitely having a big hand and foot and toe into what Red Hulk would be and how he will appear to us.
I think what they're going to do with him is they're going to do the whole James Earl Jones Darth Vader thing. Where he will voice Red Hulk
and
when he's in the Red Hulk form.
Yes.
But he will not be doing, because you think about it, Bradley Cooper does not do the motion cap for Rocket Raccoon. Somebody else does the motion cap for Rocket.
Yeah,
he just voices Rocket Raccoon. And then you've also got, like I said, we could be seeing something to where if this happens. So this is why I said fuck She-Hulk, because the rumor has always been that She-Hulk was the events of She-Hulk were going to bleed into Captain America 4. I got instantly more fascinated with Captain America 4 when Julius Ona, the director, came out and said, "Hey, this is a paranoid thriller." I'm like, okay, dope.
Which I guess that could kind of make sense because
it did. It doesn't now.
I can see that because Captain America and Winter Soldier, or Falcon and Winter Soldier, they did. That's How can I go into this? There was a lot to play with politicals and with law, so I can see how they could potentially lead up to that, especially since She-Hulk is, or not She-Hulk, but her ego, I guess, or her non-She-Hulk self is going to be the representation of superheroes, I guess. So I guess that could make sense. But like you said, like you just said now, after everything that just happened in She-Hulk, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Yeah. I don't know how they would tie that into
it doesn't make sense. If the leak was supposed to be that it was supposed to be something with her blood, and that we was going to see multiple Hulks, and the leader is still going to be one of the villains, if not the villain. I don't know about the villain, but he's going to be one of the villains in Captain America 4. The intelligentsia is still going to play a role in Captain America 4. We know that the government and everything like that, with Thaddeus Ross being a part of the government, could we be seeing a thing where
the intelligentsia and the government are working together, and then like they get. I that's why I said it's tough to talk about because they did away with the whole blood plot line in She-Hulk. So I don't know if the blood plot line even is still going to tie into Captain America 4 because it was supposed to be her blood that they were going to get, and that was going to turn Thaddeus into the Red Hulk. Yeah. So I don't fucking know because I don't know they backtracked on their own precedent that they fucking set.
I don't know how we got here, and I don't know how we're gonna get there, folks.
It doesn't make sense. And I guess the question too is
Red Hulk going to be?
Well, let me see. How can I say that? The question is, if we're heading into World War Hulk, is the Red Hulk going to be the villain of the film? Is he going to be the one that rages out and we see Scar, She-Hulk, and hopefully Savage Hulk have to take and then those events lead into the Thunderbolts being maybe hired to take out Red Hulk or something like that? I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like there's so many things in the air because of how they did She-Hulk, because like Cornelius said, I think that was Cornelius, he said it wouldn't something about the two tones, like the two tones of everything from the movies and from the show.
I did see that.
Like, it's just different, so it wouldn't make any sense. It would be weird to connect the two.
I would agree, but I would also disagree. And the reason I say I
would disagree is because we see those same themes with take Thor. I always use this one as an example. The Thor we got in Love and Thunder is not Infinity War Thor. Is not Endgame Thor. And it all depends on who is writing your character. Who's writing the story. Yes.
The writers are so important.
Jessica Gao and her fucking horrible team for She-Hulk wrote She-Hulk the way that they wrote her. So I think if you have a better writer and it can fall in par with that that paranoid thriller, then if she's written properly, then she could fit into the story. I think the whole intelligentsia thing could possibly still fit in. Whoever takes that story and makes it into what they want, makes it into a way more serious tone story in Captain America 4.
I was just about to say, whoever takes the ball with Hulk and, its own world, especially with She-Hulk, they would have to completely switch the tone.
It would have to be.
They would have to, we would have to get something completely different to the point where She-Hulk is, irrelevant. You know what I mean? Like, that whole show was just completely irrelevant, and we just gave it to you because we did and we could.
Yeah. And see, this is the type of news and juice that we want to hear. We want to hear these type of things because it has you. It enables you to speculate for what is going on in Captain America 4. Are we going to see a World War Hulk thing? Is Red Hulk, Harrison Ford's Red Hulk, going to be the villain of World War Hulk? Is he going to be the Hulk we see Savage out instead of Bruce? But Bruce has to be. He has to go back to Savage Hulk.
He has to go back to Savage Hulk. I don't know if he would be the villain. He might be a villain. Do I think he's going to be the main villain? I don't think so.
No, not the leader is still definitely has to be the main villain, but I think he is going to be, he may be the one that they have to ultimately take down in the film.
True.
The Hulks are going to have to come together to take him down in the film. I think the leader is ultimately still the mastermind.
Together.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel you on that.
Yeah. I think and I'm
Love and Thunder happened in an alternate universe in my mind. Me too, buddy.
I don't acknowledge that film. I don't. But I do think that, like I said, I'm done with the Smart Hulk stuff. It's so lame. I don't want to see. I'm done with the picnics and the barbecue showing up and the family. Hey guys, it's my son. It's not your son. It's Hulk's son.
First
You're
foremost,
Bruce.
Who are you?
So I'm just like I'm over it.
But so with them being so willing to recast
Harrison Ford and bringing him into the MCU brings us to the last topic here, and that is what's going on with Wakanda Forever and things like that. And
let's get into it.
Yeah, we're first, before we get into any of that, there's a format I'm going to do this in. We are going to, because I have not seen it, we're going to watch the featurette here for where is it? If I can find it. There we go. So we're going to watch the featurette here that Marvel released from Wakanda Forever, and after that we'll dive into that. Then we'll dive into Nate Moore's most recent comments. Man, that man Nate Moore. We're going to dive into his most recent comments on Wakanda Forever and Black Panther and T'Challa. Then we're going to get into the early premiere. The red carpet premiere has now been pushed up to, I believe, October 25th instead of November 1st. The red carpet premiere is now going to be October 25th instead of November 1st, which is quite interesting. So we're going to talk about those things, and then we will we'll hear from you guys too, get you guys' thoughts on what you guys think is going on. But let me get into this real quick.
Get into it. I'm so excited.
And I'll make this to where you guys can hear that pretty good. I hope.
Now
you
this
guys
should be
can.
like our last trailer, right? At this point.
This is a featurette. Now,
this is a featurette?
Yeah, this is them talking about behind-the-scenes stuff. Now, here's the thing, too, about last trailers and things like that. We knew from Multiverse of Madness and Thor: Love and Thunder, Marvel puts out too many damn TV spots.
They do.
I don't watch them. I stopped watching after Multiverse of Madness, but they put way too many out. Yeah, but we'll react to this with you guys, or not react to this, sorry. We'll look at this with you guys and then go from there.
No woman, no cry. Audiences have embraced Wakanda and Black Panther. And Chadwick, he knew exactly what this story, what these images meant to the world.
We all suffered an incredible loss when we lost Chadwick.
Chad was very much our artistic partner. I would spend time with him, just he and I, talking about like, where we would want to see the story go, how much he admired the other characters and the actors that portrayed them.
In the telling of this story, we were all able to honor him together.
It was really moving to come back to Wakanda and for us to be able to do it with a sense of celebration.
There's so much that's happening in this movie. It's amazing. So many new characters to explore. Just seeing the world of Wakanda again, and then now we're going to this whole new world underwater.
My enemies call me Namor.
Introducing Namor, who's a character we were really excited to portray in the film, arguably one of the oldest comic book characters that there is.
The opportunity to play a character like this, it's a dream.
He's the king of an underwater civilization called Talukan.
He is regarded as a living god.
I need to know if Wakanda is an ally or an enemy.
The level of care creating this story, it is astounding. And so it just really felt like for all of us to give it everything we have and more.
I'm just so grateful and blessed to be a part of this. The actors were filled with emotion and passion.
I am queen of the most powerful nation, and my entire family is gone.
Altogether, we ended up using those feelings to create something really special.
The action and adventure with the emotional stakes so high. Things are happening up, down, and everywhere.
I'm so excited about the world being able to tap into Wakanda again. How each character takes on new challenges. And I'm excited about us honoring Chad. Yeah, he would want us to just inspire the world.
Okay.
I'm literally holding back tears right now.
Oh yeah, every time
Every time I see his
they
face.
talk about Chad, it's tough. It's sad.
So tough.
It's sad. Now, this is what I will say. To jump into this quickly, the featurette. Some of the things that were talked about in the featurette there. How they said, this is. I want to make sure that I get the actual what was said.
Come back to Wakanda and for us to be able to do it with a sense of celebration.
Sorry.
Ashra said, I'm not paying for black trauma since renewals don't make you pay to attend. So sad.
An incredible loss.
At the beginning here. Angela Bassett said it at the very beginning.
Meant to the world. But the story with Panther and Chadwick, He knew exactly.
So, at the very beginning there, Angela Bassett says Chadwick knew exactly what these images meant to the world.
Yes.
When we're talking Black Panther Wakanda Forever, when we're talking T'Challa, when we're talking Black Panther in general, these type of things keep being said. Like, he knew, Chadwick this, Chadwick that. But when Marvel is saying these things and we're hearing the actors and actresses that are a part of the film say these things, they are speaking from a place of, they know him personally.
Yeah.
I didn't. We didn't. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I mean, like, we did not, I didn't get the privilege of knowing Chadwick Boseman, like Angela Bassett, Letitia and Denai and Ryan and Nate Moore and Kevin. They all got the privilege of knowing the actual man.
The hands-on experience.
We only know him through his, either, like I said, if you were introduced to him as T'Challa, great on you, but I know him as Jackie. I know him as Thurgood. I know him as James Brown. I know him as T'Challa. But in that, as I've said so many times, he never once said, Jackie stops with me. Yeah. No one else can play Jackie. He never said, Thurgood Marshall stops with me. No more portrayals of Thurgood Marshall. Yeah. He never said, not my film, get up. Nobody else is ever doing James Brown again. I got this. That's my role. He understood that even with T'Challa, this is important. This imagery is important. As Angela Bassett just said, he understood how important these images were for the world. He understood. He's done plenty of interviews where he has sat and said, yes, I want kids in the audience to see themselves in Letitia as in Suri. I want people to see themselves in Denai and Okoye. Yeah. I want people to see themselves in Ramonda, and Angela Bassett, who plays his mother, and Winston Duke, who plays M'Baku. But at the end of the day, I'm the main character.
Yeah.
They need to see themselves in me. Yeah. I've shown the imagery of kids doing the Wakanda Forever. I've shown the imagery of kids, the video of those two little black boys outside the theater looking at the Black Panther poster saying to their mom, Mommy, that one's me. I see me. Representation, as we just discussed, matters.
It matters.
It matters
so much.
And when you take representation off the screen and you replace representation with trauma, when you replace representation with tropes, you replace representation with real life things in fantasy films, I don't want to see that.
I completely agree. I understand where everyone is coming from, but at the end of the day, the character himself eventually does die.
Not in the comics. T'Challa has never died in the comics.
Not in the comics? See, I never read Black Panther comics. Does he not die in the comics? It never got passed to Shuri?
Oh, it gets past to Shuri, but he's there. Huh. He's there. They are ruling together. That's what Wakanda is, bro. Wakanda is a nation of that was never colonized. That was uncolonized. That escaped the slavery part of everything that happened to Africa. Not only that, they are the most technologically advanced nation in the world in Marvel. So when it comes to them, they are not. They're untouchable. That's why she said, "I'm the queen of the most powerful nation in the world."
Yeah.
You know, this idea that he's going to die of a sickness in the film, ridiculous. He lives in Wakanda. In no universe is he getting sick in Wakanda and dying.
I think Cornelia said that he was in a coma, right?
He was in a coma.
Yeah.
Yes, he was in a coma. It happened in Secret Invasion. There was whole thing with Dr. Doom.
I've read Black Panther in other people's storylines, but I've never read his storyline. Yes. I thought with all characters, they've passed. But remember last week you and I were talking, how are they going to portray this? Are they going to portray this as a death, because the person that played him died, or are they going to play it with the blip? You know, did he go?
That'd be nice.
You know what I mean? Did he not go? I was gonna try to watch the Endgame before I came here, but I was so caught up with House of Dragons, just because I know he disappeared in the blip. But then Endgames, did he come back? Didn't he come back?
He comes back in the blip.
Yeah.
The idea in a perfect world, this film does happen in the blip.
Yeah.
But and again, I've been shitting on that theory for the longest. Even though I've been hopeful, I've been shitting on it just simply. And the reason I've been shitting on it is because I just don't think it's happening. And then too, with Ryan Coogler's most recent comments on the film this week, he said Monday. It came out Monday that he said the film's going to take place a year after T'Challa's death. Now, that still could be a year within the blip.
True.
Because the blip lasted 5 years. That still could be a year within the blip. And I still, again, I'm praying that happens. I'm praying that this is happening within the blip and that T'Challa can come back in the MCU. And just, I'll give you a little thing here because I know that you said you're not too familiar with the character. The character of T'Challa was created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby during the Civil Rights Movement. When they were riding around, Jack Kirby, and the way he eloquently put it, riding around and all these black kids are reading our comics, but the blacks don't have anybody that looks like them.
Right.
They don't have a character that they can look up to. So they created T'Challa, the Black Panther. And in creating T'Challa, the Black Panther, it gave our community representation. Not only gave our community representation, it painted us in a light that we had never been painted in before.
Right.
We had never been seen as we've been seen as superheroes, but we've either been seen as the villain or the absentee dad or the drunk or the sidekick.
It was nothing ever positive.
It was never, yes.
And if it was positive, it was never consistent.
Right.
Okay.
And when they made T'Challa, they gave him the role of King T'Challa. I want to stop that too. When they created the comics, it was never, we created the Black Panther comics. No. They created T'Challa, the Black Panther.
Okay.
And he goes on to be the Black Panther still today in his comics. At no point does the man ever die. So when it's like, when you're looking at the representation part of this, you're looking at how long ago the creator, because the character, it's literally Black history.
Yeah.
The character is literally Black history. There are comics of him beating the shit out the KKK.
Yeah.
He first shows up in the Fantastic Four
I'm gonna
comics.
have to really sit down and get into his comics.
It's dope. The character is bro. That is why he's literally on the front.
Makes sense.
He has a whole 2 pages to himself in here. Why? Because the character is so important to the Marvel lore in general, not just his comics.
But
T'Challa plays a huge role in Secret Wars. Secret Wars comes out in 2026. He is one of the ones that's wielding the gauntlet.
Yeah, he's a huge part of
when Secret Wars first opens and the Time Runs Out comic, when it first opens, it opens with T'Challa.
Yeah.
It opens with him. You know what I'm saying? He gets the Illuminati back together. The Illuminati went to T'Challa to have him, they asked, join the Illuminati. Where did the first meeting even happen? It happened in Wakanda.
Yeah.
It's just like, you're erasing a character that is so pivotal, that has so much history in the story that you're trying to tell.
Right.
So, this whole thing of, you still get Shuri. Fuck off with that, though.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I don't want Shuri. I'm not trying to say that to be misogynistic, because I'm not. I love female superheroes, but we don't have to erase T'Challa to add Shuri.
No, so I guess my biggest thing and my biggest, okay, how we're going to do this, and I guess that was your question too, is in this movie, are we burying the person, or are we burying the character? Because now I can understand where the frustration comes from, because initially the character never dies.
So the thing is, they're honoring Chadwick, so they say.
Yeah.
They say this is to honor Chadwick. But we are burying the character with Chadwick. And I just disagree with that.
Yeah.
And the reason I disagree with that is, again,
I can see
I'm
that.
not being unsympathetic to the mourning. I personally mourned, bro.
Yeah.
I'm going to mourn again because I'm going to have to sit through another funeral of Chadwick's.
Yeah.
So I'm going to, not only that, I'm mourning Chadwick, but I'm also mourning T'Challa because you're killing that character.
Right.
So I'm now going to be in the film during the funeral, crying again, watching you kill this character, which is something you don't have to do. He never wanted you to kill the character. We can honor Chadwick, but if you're going to honor him in the way that he wanted. Yeah. He said himself, the
representation is, like you said, the representation
matters. It fucking matters,
man. He said that he knew what these images were going to do, for the world and for our people, and so he wanted to make sure that stays forever. I don't think he was ever the type of person that would be like, No.
Right. And the fact that Marvel would think that Nate Moore and Ryan Coogler, and that's why I'm about to get into my issues with Ryan Coogler. With Ryan Coogler and Nate Moore and Kevin Feige and all of them, the fact that they would think that Chadwick Boseman, since they say they knew him so well, if you knew him so well, did you really think that he was so narcissistic to think to himself, nah, it stops with me?
Yeah, like, let's just bury the character.
Yeah, let's fuck up. I mean, Angela Bassett just said it herself in the first 11 seconds of this video.
Like,
he understood the imagery of this.
Yeah, he understood the assignment for sure.
Like, he understood the fucking assignment.
Yeah.
He knew what needed to be done.
So, I can understand how you and everyone else can be more on the fence with this movie.
Yeah, no, it's just upsetting because too, like I said, I give Chadwick Boseman his credit due. That it is not just, and I feel like that's even understating it when you say his credit due. Pay homage to the man for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Give him his flowers.
That's exactly what you do. You know, you give the man his flowers, but in giving him his flowers, you don't then say, well, all the work that you've done, be damned.
Yeah.
The legacy, how do legacies live on? Like,
if you try to kill it.
It's Sandlot. When what's the kid's name? Benny? When Benny has the dream of Babe Ruth tells him before he leaves, remember, heroes get remembered, but legends never die.
Yeah.
If Chadwick Boseman is the legend that Marvel says he is, you don't have to kill the character because the legend's never gonna die.
Yeah, you don't have. Yeah, okay.
The legend's not gonna die.
So you're afraid that they're killing the character?
I
mean,
just based off of what they've said. Now, Kevin Feige did say a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, or however many weeks ago it was, where he said, at the time, we felt it was just too soon to recast the character.
Which makes sense.
That's fine. But had he said that in 2020, we wouldn't even be having this conversation.
You don't feel like the emotions would be as high?
I think in 2020, Marvel was thinking of Marvel at that time, honestly. Now, I want to also be sympathetic to their feelings because, again, they knew the brother.
Right.
They knew him.
They knew him.
So with them knowing him, I'm not going to sit here and say that they weren't really feeling that emotion. They were feeling that emotion, but in feeling that emotion, they were feeling their wallets too.
Oh yeah.
So how do we do that? How do we keep this train moving? So they came out too early and said, because Kevin Feige's words at D23 in 2020 were, summarizing it, because of the legacy that Chadwick left on the character, because he played the character so good, it is for that reason we are not recasting the character of T'Challa. Again, I've made this comparison, bro. Tom Holland, God forbid, Tom Holland gets hit by a car.
Yeah, just wrong words.
And passes.
Yeah.
Honestly, can you look me in the eye and honestly tell me that Marvel says because Tom Holland did such a great job, we're not recasting Spider-Man.
They're gonna have a replacement.
Exactly. Look at Harrison Ford. Nate Moore, the VP, Moore said. And again, I've said this before on this channel. People keep saying, give Nate Moore his credit. Nate Moore's the one that ushered in Black Panther. Nate Moore's one of the ones that helped get Black Panther on the screen. I don't give a fuck about that. I'm going to give the man his credit where credit's due. That's fantastic. I'm so glad. Thank you, Nate Moore, for ushering in Black Panther. Thank you, Nate Moore, for helping Black Panther get on the screen.
Right.
But all skin folk ain't fucking kin folk.
Right? I was about to say all skin folk.
And they ain't. Just because Nate Moore did what he did does not mean a damn thing. I'm looking at what he's saying today.
Yeah.
Things that he said yesterday. Things that he said last week. Yeah. Things that he said in November of 2020.
If you're gonna start something, if you're gonna start something on a certain energy, let's end it on the same energy.
Exactly.
And I do agree with you. I feel like if they would have came out with that sooner, when everything was happening, when everything was so
we wouldn't
fresh,
have this conversation.
I don't think everyone's emotions would be as high, because at the end of the day, the actor has to be replaced because T'Challa has to live on, because he's very vital, especially if they plan on doing Secret
Actors
Wars.
Pass, man.
They
do. We're all gonna pass at one point.
Yeah.
You know, when Adam West passed, we didn't say, well, no more Batman films.
Yeah.
He was the originator. He was the one that he left his legacy. How many Batmans have we had?
Yo, here we are again with another fucking
exactly.
Batman, with another
How many fucking
Batman.
Supermans have we had? How many Jokers have we had?
One of our fans did say, Superman died, but Kent Clark still lives.
Yeah, Clark Kent does not. He does
that's
not.
how you know I'm not a DC.
Yeah,
fan.
I
know you're not.
I'm not a DC.
I know you're
fan,
not a
y'all.
DC person.
Ugh.
Yeah, Clark Kent still lives. It's Superman. Like, you're not gonna kill Superman.
Yeah.
Now, has Superman died in the comics?
He has.
Yes.
In the death of Superman, he dies in the
I
comics.
was like, isn't there a
But
whole
he-
comic
Yes,
about it?
but he still comes back. He's still Superman, bro.
Right.
He's still Superman. The character is never gonna die. As people, as flesh and blood, we do die.
Yeah.
We are eventually going to die.
I guess my
But the characters just don't.
I guess I think that's just my mindset too. I just feel like at the end of the day, even in comic books, these people, these characters, they eventually pass and they hand off the torch. And as that's what all Phase 4 was for us was, okay,
The passing of the torch.
we've just had these characters for 10 years and they're either moving on or they're gone. And so we gotta literally keep moving forward.
Right.
So I think the whole don't cast, T'Challa thing is ridiculous.
It is.
Because the character has to live on.
He
The
has
character
to.
has to live on.
He has to
He
live
is
on.
he's such a vital piece of all of this. He has to live on. And yeah, he has to. There's just no other way. He just has to. But I do agree that they shouldn't. I do agree that they shouldn't have recasted him for this one.
No. And I want to say that too. I'm never one of the ones. Now, for those of you that are new here, if this is new for you and you're not aware of it, I know that you're a little, you know it, but you don't know it.
Yeah.
The recast movement was created by E-Man over at E-Man's Movie Reviews, Emmanuel. And one of the things that he specifically put in there is that recast T'Challa is not when you see the hashtag recast T'Challa, it's not saying, oh, I better sit down November 11th and he better be in the film. No. It's not saying, I don't want to see that female be Black Panther.
Right.
No. It's not saying any of that. It's saying, just simply don't kill the character.
Like, do
I
the
don't
character
care
right.
what shit. Exactly. I don't. However you want to tell the story. If he's not in this film, honky fucking dory. That's fine.
But do the character, especially because of
But
their
don't kill him.
representation.
Yes.
Especially because of the representation.
Because as I've said this too on here before. In 2018, you can look that article up. I believe it was Screen Rant that posted that. In 2018, Marvel. Now, was Chadwick Boseman still alive in 2018? Yes, he was.
Who was about to lead the Avengers after this new phase? T'Challa. T'Challa was going to be the leader of the Avengers team. He was going to be the new leader. Just because Chadwick passes does not then mean you negate those plans.
Yeah.
Does not then mean you throw away, because you're throwing away the character. Again, Chadwick Boseman has said in interviews where he talked about, he's like, when you look at like one of the Oceans films with all these white actors you've got in there. Oceans 12? There's like 13 of them. You look at all of those. You got all these white actors in there, and no one bats an eye.
No.
Because it's like, oh my God, we got all these brilliant white male actors in one film. But then someone asked Chadwick said, but you never see Lawrence Fishburne, Samuel Jackson, Denzel Washington. You never see those greats in films together. Because it's just not done. And then he said, we don't like the conversation, his words, we don't like the conversation around there can only be one. He said, because it pins us. When he said it pins us, he was talking about other black actors. It pins us against one another. It makes us feel, it's debilitating. It's frightening.
Yes.
So he was saying, no, I don't want the buck to stop with me.
Yeah.
If
anything,
exactly,
it
needs to keep going.
It needs to keep
going.
It
needs to keep going for the representation fact.
And let's have an honesty moment here, because at the end of the day, the people that are representing these characters are actual people. Chadwick, he knew he was sick. He knew that he was dying.
Yeah.
If you go back to look at interviews, there was a lot of his coworkers who didn't know the extent of his sickness, at least. You know what I mean? Like, they knew he was sick, but they didn't know the extent of his sickness. So I think he went into this movie.
Actually, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I want you to finish that thought. But
no
one knew he was sick, though.
No one knew he was sick.
Nobody
right?
but his family.
Okay, so
Nobody
I was like,
family.
I didn't know if they knew the extent. I knew they didn't know the extent of his that he had cancer. But I would think physically, you would probably look at him some days and be like, something's not right. So I'm pretty sure he went into these movies, whether he knew at the time or not, or when he did find out of how important this representation is and why he made it very clear of, I'm not going to end T'Challa. T'Challa does not end with me. It will forever be passed on.
Should ever be cemented.
Yeah.
The character should forever be cemented in.
And, you know, to move to, in the same topic, I'm just going to move to what Nate Moore said this week in one of his new interviews he did. In the latest issue of Total Film magazine, Marvel Studios VP in production and development, Nate Moore, spoke about the studio's decisions to not recast the role of T'Challa ahead of Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. He admitted that it was a difficult decision. Again, they know him. I would expect it to be difficult.
Yeah.
But, you know, one of the things that Nate Moore said too was, well, let me
finish this. But in the end, it was one that everybody in the studio trusted as the path was illuminated. I don't know, this is Nate Moore speaking, I don't know if anything about it was an easy decision, but it was a decision that once made, we all believed in. And it led us on the path forward. Moore couldn't see...
Now this part is what gets me. Nate Moore, bruh, God. Moore couldn't see a way to tell another young actor that he was playing T'Challa in the MCU. Even being very aware of the talkback, when the talkback being the recast conversation regarding the choice. But it was a call he couldn't make, although he made it clear that the calls for the role to be recast are fair. This is Nate Moore again. I could not imagine turning to the best young actor in the world who wasn't Chadwick and being like, okay, so you're T'Challa. I could not and cannot imagine that. Okay.
But that's not your place.
I really couldn't. Other people will have a different answer to that, of course, to that question. And we're very aware of the talkback, the recast, and how people feel. And I think all of that, to be quite honest, is fair. Everybody is going to have different opinions. I can just say after being in it, I couldn't do it. I couldn't get there. You know, what do you mean you couldn't get there?
Then get somebody else to.
That's it. Like, what do you mean you couldn't get there? If you can't
do it, then delegate the responsibility. I do want to mention, Cornelia said, I don't think Feige actually supports Ryan Coogler and Nate Moore's decision, not like we perceived. He understands it, but I don't think he would have done it the same. I think you're right. I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if there was a little...
I would like to agree with that. But even in 2020, he had much more control than he has in 2022. So if that was truly Kevin Feige's thought process, Nate Moore shouldn't have come out and said, we decided within minutes not to cast... They decided within minutes not to recast him. So if Kevin Feige indeed really doesn't feel that way as the president, because Nate Moore is just the vice president of production. As the president of the studio, you should have put your foot down and said, time out.
Maybe not right now, but we are going to recast.
Yeah. And now
maybe... I do agree with you. Maybe in 2020, when all this was coming out, they should have said, we're not recasting right now, but there will be a recast because T'Challa will live on.
Right. And to what Nate Moore said there about, I just couldn't do it. I couldn't turn to the best young actor in the world who wasn't Chadwick.
I was about to say this too, KevZ247. But Feige wanted to be sensitive to black people in our culture. He didn't know, so he leaned to Coogler and Moore. I was just about to say that. What if he felt some type of way?
I can see that too.
He didn't want to you know what I mean? He didn't want to drop the ball on that one either. At the time, you have to realize this was 2020. Mm-hmm. This was
during the Black Lives Matter movement and all that.
It was a very sensitive time, so I do agree with that.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Persuade to be like, meh.
And that's all fine and dandy. That I'm not saying that, I'm not condemning Kevin Feige or anything like that. But what I'm saying is, bro,
as the president of a company,
I understand he's not a part of the culture, so he leaned to Nate Moore and Ryan Coogler. But at the end of the day, as the president of a company, you may not be as immersed in our culture as those two, but you are still the president of a company that still has the final say. You still have to make a decision. And I get you not trying to step on the toes of the community, and it was during a tumultuous time during 2020, Black Lives Matter, everything like that. But I think that should show even more of an importance as to why you don't pull the character off the screen.
Yeah, but I think too, as a CEO, you should have been like, whoa.
Yeah.
Emotions are high. I understand what you're saying. maybe this, because the fact that you just came up with that decision like moments after a situation like that, like, oh no.
Right.
Whoa.
Nobody took time.
First of all, we're not even you didn't even give a chance to anyone to mourn
He's
or
not even in the ground yet.
Or like process what just happened, and you just automatically made this decision. You know what I mean? And then the fact that the person who was supposed to be like, okay, wait, no, let's slow down, let's talk about this, let's give time to mourn, was just like, you know what, I don't want to deal with this because I don't want to deal with people's sensitivity, so I'm gonna give this to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely could have been handled better.
And it should have been handled better. And him saying that he couldn't look at the best young actor, whatever, bro. Then what are you doing what are you doing in this job? Your job, your job is to, like, don't get me wrong. Let's say something happens in my personal life to where I have to take a few days off from work. But when I get back to work, it is fully expected of me to do my job.
And here's the thing too, because I'm that type of person. I was in a situation where, I was working with somebody. She was, I was working for her. She was the owner of her shop or in her business, and something happened and I didn't get paid. And it was this whole situation. Long story short, my whole mindset is, like you said, if you know, or even if you don't know, if I have to leave my place of business or something of importance like this, I'm going to make sure my ducks are in as much of a row as I can, so that when I come back, like you said, I'm expected to work. I'm expected to pick up right where I'm left off. And so you have to do that.
Exactly.
And I feel like they did not do that with this.
No, and that's what I'm saying here. Take your time, Nate Moore. Nobody's telling you or Ryan, fuck that. The MCU keeps going. It's a train. You don't get to mourn.
I don't think Kevin was that person been like, oh, no. Or I don't think anyone. Not
Take
even
your
just
time.
Kevin.
Mourn. Go home. Turn off social media. Seclude yourself and take as much time as you need. But, that's where the but comes in. But once you've mourned,
we got to get back to work.
That's where you have to do your job, and you have to go to the best young actor, in his words, in the world, and who's not Chadwick, and say, hey,
you're up.
Damson, hey, John David Washington, hey, Yolande Noel, hey, we need one of you guys to come in
and do the work.
Damson Idris, we need one of you guys to come in
and do the fucking work, because the work needs to be done.
Exactly. And what young black actor would not relish at jumping at the role of playing the king of Wakanda?
I don't think anyone would just drop that ball.
Nobody would. Nobody. If you call I
feel like in a way it was not just disrespectful towards us as a black community, or even towards Black Panther or the MCU, but it was a huge kind of slap in the face for Chadwick and his family and his legacy. Like,
his brother did an interview with TMZ and said, "No, my brother would want the role recast." He said we've had conversations. Yeah. So his niece.
But the fact that
even came out and said it.
I don't know. I think that's the part that's just even more frustrating, because I think for me, I'm a very considerate person. So if I knew Chadwick and I knew the impact and I knew where his roles were in this character, I would want to go to his family and be like, we want some form of advice or opinions of how you want this to be portrayed, because at the end of the day, even though this is a character, this is a real life human, this is a real life situation, these are real life emotions and grievances, and we have to respect that. And it's not just affecting him and his wife and his family, but it's affecting the rest of the world because of what he put out. Not just in Black Panther, but in everything that he's done.
No, we lost a beautiful soul. We lost a beautiful soul. And you look at all the actors that would love to jump at the opportunity to play T'Challa, but you have Nate Moore saying, I can't look at them and say it. Then don't say it. Then get somebody else to do it. If you can't do it, if you are inadequate enough to do your job as the VP of one of the big, if not the biggest studio in the world, then take some steps back. Yeah. Don't do it.
But people don't like accountability.
Yeah, then don't do it.
Hey, I don't know if you guys have noticed me all day, but I'm like, hey, I don't know that, or hey, I do know that, because I'm not gonna sit here and act like I know something I don't know.
And it's for everybody keeps saying, it's for the culture, man. You have to take yourself back to 2018. Again, I coach AAU basketball, and predominantly of the kids on my team are black kids. And that's not like a thing that we just look for. It's just like predominantly of our boys are black on the team. We do, and we have our few white kids on the team, and everything like that, but. We took, and this is something I've never done. At that time, we were up under Nike Pro Skills, and it's a program from Texas. We were under Pro Skills at that time. In 2018, that's where we were under, and So I took my team, my boys that were now sophomores at the time, my freshman team, I took both of my two teams over to Nike Pro Skills and we joined that program. Well, we were supposed to practice one day, and this is when Black Panther came out. We were supposed to practice one day. Instead of practice, we canceled practice. We rented out a theater, and we took the boys to see Black Panther.
Yeah.
Now, before that, I had seen it already like 7 times before seeing it.
But still.
We took them to see the film.
Just giving them the opportunity to see something.
It was it was for them to see the representation fact of it. Letting these black boys see we are kings. Yeah. We are queens. We are intelligent. Yeah. We are more than what the stereotypes and tropes that the world has told us. We are not this stigma.
Yeah, we are not. And my godsons who are 3 and 4, they love Black Panther. Like, that is their favorite movie. Like, oh, what do you want to watch? Put on Black Panther. Like, that is their jam. Just like it is for a lot of kids. It is for me. You know what I mean? Like, I love Shuri. Mm-hmm. I love Anika. I love all of them.
I love them all.
I love all. I see them in
I love the world of Wakanda.
You know, I want to live there.
You know, and that's another thing too, you know, for everybody that's out there saying, oh my gosh, this movement is so... I think when people come into this space, and I've said this so many times, you're looking at this shit at face value. Yeah. When you see a tweet of saying hashtag recast T'Challa and you've never seen or dove into the conversation with recast, at face value, you're tweeting ignorant shit like, oh, this is not what Chadwick wanted, or this is so disrespectful to his character.
Like, you can't...
unless you do the research, unless you are having conversations, the necessary conversations, and educating yourself on what this hashtag means, sit this one out. Yeah. Perez Hilton, that's how big the movement is. Yeah. Perez Hilton tweeted the other day, how is this respectful to Chadwick? Buddy, if you don't stick to that celebrity fucking gossip and sit this shit out, this one ain't for you.
Perez Hilton low-key stresses me out.
No, I can't stand Perez Hilton in general. Sit this one out. Like, don't come in conversations where you're not well versed. I've always said that.
Yeah. I think my biggest thing is, like, if you're not a supporter, if you're not an ally, like, just stop talking. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not going to take the time to understand and have the empathy or the sympathy to be an ally or to be someone of support with anything mm-hmm. outside of Marvel, outside of race, outside of sexuality, just don't speak on it.
You know, and
don't speak on it.
Don't speak on it. Yeah. And with the whole, I'll move this to this, and with the whole thing, guys. So the film, they're doing the world premiere is not going to happen on November 1st anymore. It's happening on October 25th. Some people now I'll read that part really quickly here. What they said. They said there are a number of reasons Disney may have chosen to shift the world premiere date of Black Panther Wakanda Forever. It could be a case of talent availability or logistics around planning the event. It may be the case that this premiere date fits in better with the film's marketing campaign. Or, as some fans have speculated online, it could be a case that an earlier world premiere shows Disney's confidence in the upcoming Marvel movie. Typically, the social review embargo for a film will drop after the world premiere in the past. It seems that Marvel has kept the world premiere and theatrical release dates close together in order to avoid the spread of spoilers, which could ruin the experience of the audience. With Black Panther 2, yeah, it does. World premiere date now occurring almost 3 weeks ahead of the global release date. It leaves plenty of time for reactions and spoilers, and hopefully a spoiler-free reaction to hit the internet. However, it seems Marvel Studios is confident enough in the new film that it's willing to run the risk. Here's what I have to say about this. You're putting the premiere out now, October 25th instead of November 1st. Somebody said there, they said that fans think that it's a speculation with they're confident in the film. I believe they're very confident, and they should be.
They should be.
They should be. You know, I get it. No T'Challa, no Dala. That's your prerogative. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. I'm just too curious. I cannot not go see it. I have to see it for myself in order to form my own opinion, my own functional opinion, and get on here and do this show every Sunday, every day, or whatever, and give you guys authentically what I think. I cannot just go off of what other people are saying about it. I have to authentically tell you what I've seen, what I think, how I feel.
The emotions that
exactly.
I felt. Yes.
So, I get it. No T'Challa, no Dala. That's how you feel. That's how you feel. But I will say this. With it coming out, them doing this premiere October 25th instead of November 1st now,
you are inviting leaks.
Yeah.
You're not only are you inviting leaks.
You really are.
You know, I don't.
It seems like they're encouraging it.
They are, and again, I get that you're confident in your film, and you should be, because you've had two phenomenal trailers.
I feel like they're also scared.
It's definitely a scared thing.
The whole hashtag of
recast T'Challa,
because they knew they dropped the ball on that. I think also too, they're scared because a lot of people have said, you know,
no T'Challa, no
dollar. Like,
right.
So it's really up in the air. It's really up in the air, and I think they probably, I say they pushed it back because I think they want to do the whole the world premiere and the release at the same time, make it back to back. That does make a little bit more sense, but I think they're hiding their confidence under.
I think they're hiding confidence too,
and I think too it goes back to what we were saying about She-Hulk and everything else. Word of mouth
is everything.
You are about to now let people see this film on the 25th instead of 10 days before the film. They're going to get to see it like what is that? The 25th before they're going to get to now see it what 15 days before the film comes out?
Yeah, let's look at this.
So you're looking at that now. Word of mouth. You've already got people confused about T'Challa's death and him not being in the film. Even people that are not hardcore sweats like we are, that are not in these spaces like we are. People that only saw the trailer for the first time, and during the trailer they learned for the first time, oh, T'Challa's not in it.
Yeah.
Now you've got that curiosity. You've got that whole thing with people going. Then you've got the people that know what's going on that are going to the film or not going to the film or whatever. Now the word of mouth is going to be, even if the film is brilliant, which the film may be brilliant, but you're going to have the conversation around, because it could go one of two ways. It could go ways where the general audience was like, even without T'Challa, that was great.
Yes.
But it could still go a way where it was like,
no.
They should have put the main characters back in his film.
So then this is my next question. Do you think if they would have not, let's say, God forbid, they were like, okay, they made an executive decision. They said, we're not going to honor Chadwick in this movie because T'Challa has to live, right? Let's just say they were just like, we're going with the flow. Do you think that would have been a better response to this movie than if they were to honor Chadwick?
Wait, you're saying putting him in the film, putting T'Challa in the film?
Not T'Challa, just because obviously in the trailers there's segments of where we're honoring the king, we're honoring Chadwick, and we're honoring T'Challa in his fall, right? Do you think if they were like, okay, let's not, we're gonna just we're not gonna address the fact that Chadwick has passed,
right?
And T'Challa has, like if they would have just kept it going as if he didn't pass, do you think that would have been a better response to this movie compared to if they would have, instead of them taking the time to honor Chadwick? Of course, it's right to,
right,
because it's Chadwick, but at the same time, do you think if they would have just been like, you know what, it's been time has passed enough to where we're not going to address this and we're going to keep it going, because as I've learned today, T'Challa does not die. He lives on.
I think what they could have done,
they already did that really beautiful tribute to him when he passed. Marvel did.
But I think what they could have done, if they wanted to further that, they could have done, you know how they do the behind the scenes Marvel stuff, the Marvel Assembled?
Yes.
They could have done an Assembled for that. They could have done a Marvel Assembled where you get the cast.
They could have honored him in a different way instead of bringing it into the movie and let T'Challa live on, and it would have had
because why are we bringing real life into fantasy? I will never get that. You know, when I go sit down in a film, unless it's like a Jeffrey Dahmer type of biopic,
if it's based off of
real life,
I'm expecting to go sit down and for the 2 hours or 1 hour and a half or however. I don't want to be in my real world.
I don't want to be in my world.
I want to escape the realisms of life. Yeah. And I want to be able to explore explore this fantasy world that I like. When I sit down and I watch House of Dragon or Game of Thrones or whatever it is, I'm in that world.
Yeah.
Now, I know, obviously, that world is not real. There's no dragons. There's no, there's no the bloodline of Targaryens or Valarians or any of that stuff. I get it.
But when I'm in that show, baby, I'm sitting
at that table. But when I'm in that show,
and I'm eating that turkey leg,
I feel as if I'm in this realistic world, and for the hour and however long that I'm in that show, nothing else fucking matters.
No.
Nothing else matters. The only thing that matters is House of Targaryen, House of the Dragon, what is on my screen. So when I go watch Black Panther Wakanda Forever, I want to be immersed with
T'Challa fighting his arch nemesis Namor.
Yeah.
I want to see T'Challa being the king that we never got to see him be. We didn't get to see him be a king. We didn't get to see him be a father because he's gonna have a son in this.
Right.
We didn't get to see him. We didn't get to see him be the diplomat that he was going to be, or anything. We didn't even get to see him be the leader of the Avengers like Marvel had him set to be.
Yes. Okay.
We've only seen T'Challa in the MCU, and this is not me making this up. This is fact. Out of all the handful of cameos in his one film, it equals out to 1 hour and 47 minutes of film time for T'Challa in the fucking MCU.
That's sad.
1 hour and 47 minutes. Meanwhile, he's now going to die for the 3rd time in his own film. Loki has died a total of 3 times. Got his own whole fucking series.
And then some.
And now is about to be the catalyst that pushes the knowledge of Kang toward everyone.
Everyone, which like.
So no,
note,
I don't want to hear like, oh well, you know, it's just a character. They die. They did this. They did that.
No.
T'Challa's not just a character.
Wow. So they like, according to my knowledge, they just kind of really dropped the ball on this one.
It was they let their emotions get the best of them.
Yeah.
For sure. They let their emotions get the best of them. And that's, again, I'm not faulting you for being emotional.
Yeah.
I'm not faulting you for having emotions.
Shame, shame, shame. I know you're gay.
I mean, and then like I said, with their confidence, it could be a thing where they're overlooking that people still have issues that the film franchise's main character's not going to be in it. So that's that whole thing. And
KevZ247 said, I don't think they were emotional at all. Sorry, I probably put a little bit more sass in there than you wanted there, Kev, but
that's fine. And they may not have been emotional at all. But you know, and I don't want to I don't want to speak on someone's authenticity.
Yeah. No, especially if we don't know these people.
Yes,
but
unless
just,
they've
just
given
how
me...
everything has gotten out and how everything is portrayed and what is being perceived. And I just feel like all of them, including Feige, has been in this game long enough to know that perception is everything, word of mouth is everything, and they just...
And I said this last week too. Ryan Coogler said, you know, with the death of Chadwick Boseman, he almost stepped away from directing. And this goes back to what I said about Nate Moore. If you feel as if you can't accurately tell the story with the franchises, then step the fuck away.
I did see that, and I thought that was very big of him to admit that.
The fact that was great.
If you admitted, that's fine.
I don't think I was in a place emotionally where I can give you guys what you wanted because my emotions were so enwaved that I almost stepped away.
Yeah, no,
and that's all I ask.
You know, if that's how Ryan Coogler felt in that moment, then step away from the film. You know, and that's why everybody's saying, "Oh, Ryan Coogler would be great for Secret Wars." No, sir, no. No. Ryan Coogler has this weird fucking fascination with Black Death. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because the brother might have grown up without his own father, or maybe where he grew up.
Thing.
Maybe it is. I don't know. But the rest of us don't have that fucking fascination.
Maybe if he controls the death, then it's not so...
I mean, but you look at all his films he's done.
Yeah.
In every film he's done, there's Black Death.
Like, I agree with you. I completely agree with you. And I understand why people are like, I don't want to go see this because I'm tired of seeing Black Death. I'm tired of seeing Black trauma. But at the same time, I can't go and not see this because I'm also the type of person, okay, this is where we are now. How are we going to get from... We're literally at A with Black Panther, and how are you going to get us to Z? Because Secret Wars are coming here in the next couple years. And And, you know, I don't know if you guys feel it, but time is going.
Time is moving.
Time is moving.
It is moving. And like I said, then you've got
again, you have the people that come into this space, the people that come into these conversations that really don't know the history of the character or know the history of the hashtag, that are just so sure of themselves.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing that bothers me the most about people on the outside of the recast movement, is that you're so sure without any fact. You are so sure and I don't think people realize how ignorant that makes you look when you enter bro. I will never. I see conversations on Twitter that I'm not well versed in.
Yeah.
I don't enter them.
No.
If I'm not well versed in that conversation, I'll read what you're saying.
I was about to say, I'll read
I'm not going to comment.
But here's the thing: even if I am well versed, I'm not the type of person. Whether it's even if I feel strongly about it, if I disagree, I'm not going to be the type of person that's going to physically go online and like and make it into a negative thing. Like, I'm gonna find the best way I can express my feelings without making someone feel smaller.
I just can't. Me personally, I can't. I will never make my. I will never make myself look stupid enough to enter a conversation.
That's what I was trying to say.
Where I'm not well versed. Like, so when people come in so sure of themselves that what they're saying is fact, when they come in and say, "Oh, this movement is misogynistic," or Chadwick Boseman didn't want this. Oh, you don't know Chadwick Boseman. How do you know what he wants? Because I've done the research.
I also feel like my mom always says this too, like, common sense is not so common.
Oh, no, it's not.
And like, as soon as I saw hashtag recast T'Challa, I was like, oh, well, that makes sense. You know why? Because this character has to keep going.
Yeah.
We have to keep going. We have to keep moving. We have to have a Black Panther.
Yeah.
We have to have a T'Challa.
Yeah.
They're 2 and 2. They're 2 and 2. We have to have them. So it has to be, he has to be recasted no matter what.
And not only that, you can't, I want to know why too it was so easy for Marvel. Because they obviously looked at they obviously looked at Captain America 4 and the Thunderbolts and decided to themselves within minutes, we can't do this. We can't tell these stories without General Thunderbolt Ross. We have to get a replacement in here. So I don't know what the difference was and why it was so easy to decide to cast Harrison Ford and so hard to decide not to recast T'Challa, or like Nate Moore said, he couldn't do it.
I don't know.
But you can't, in no universe,
you just can't.
In no fucking universe is Thunderbolt Ross more important or held to a higher regard than the character of Black fucking Panther T'Challa.
Fuck no.
Now, in no universe is that character held to a higher regard.
No.
So, this whole thing that, the Black Panther film itself was so relevant at around that time, because of what it did for representation, not only representation, it was Marvel's first $1 billion fucking film.
Yeah, it was.
It was their first $1 billion film. It showed you, like, people of color, our community was coming out in droves to see it. I dressed up for it. Like, there were people that were in
costume.
Yeah, there were people that were in the African dashikis and the robes. I was dressed up for it. I was so ready for it, because it was something, again, I was so ready to see after 50 years, T'Challa's finally coming onto the main screen in live action. We finally get to see the glory of Wakanda. We get to see all these cool things. But then you just, you look at that, I don't know how Marvel looks at that and says,
we're just not going to recast them.
We can't do that again.
I'm sorry, what?
Like, in Nate Moore's words, I just couldn't do it. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. So, these are also conversations I'm going to be having tonight. So but I did want to touch there on that part of it. Some of the new things that were being said from Nate Moore, the premiere, and then of course that featurette, because it's something I hadn't seen. So I did want to watch that. And as always, the chat comes in crazy with yes, the chat loves
it crazy.
This is definitely a conversation that we are in and have quite often.
Yeah.
And it's not a conversation, as I've said so many times, it's not a conversation that's going to stop after this film. It's not the conversation does not stop until the king is back on his throne.
And then that's going to start a whole new conversation of where do we go from here with this new king, and how are we going to go from here? Because you're not just filling a role. And that's the thing. Like you said, the whole bringing the reality and fantasy into it. It's weird, because you're not filling a role of Chadwick. You're filling a role for T'Challa.
Exactly.
And how he was already represented. You know what I mean? So.
Exactly.
And one of the fans said, a lot of the whole excuse too that's been flying around Hollywood is like, oh, well, there's a lot of pressure, and, no one can fill those shoes, and I'm like, I agree with you of how that ridiculous that sounds, because there's so many amazing actors out there, black actors out
ridiculous.
There that have literally said that they would be honored to fill that role.
It's exhausting. That's what it is. Exhausting. It's exhausting. I've gotten to the point to where I get exhausted talking about this. Yeah. I get exhausted trying to explain.
Because it's just filled with ignorance.
Yes,
and it's filled with
there's
no
so much
common
ignorance
sense.
that surrounds this topic. So it's exhausting trying to. I used to argue with people like on Twitter and shit. I can't no more.
The same people that are trying to tell the world to not recast T'Challa, I'm pretty sure, are the same people that are freaking out about the kissing scene in Buzz Lightyear. So it's
I'm sure.
We can put y'all in a back corner because we're just not.
Because boss, like Kev said,
I's tired, boss.
Yeah,
I'm tired.
I'm tired.
I's tired. This is exhausting.
And fans over here, that's too damn bad.
yeah.
I'm tired of digging holes, Grandpa.
That's too damn bad.
That's too damn bad.
That is right. That's right.
Because we like we've been saying, like we got to keep it pushing, like we got to keep it going, and I learned a lot today. Oh my gosh, I did not realize this. I'm about to go and really get into some comics.
There's a lot going on with, like I said, this whole movement, this whole thing. I'll jump in here on some of these comments. We say, let's see.
Sorry guys, I fully am aware that I am not as amazing as the great Trey, as he is not here. So I'm sorry if I am slacking in any way.
Let's see what people are saying. There's a lot that has been said. I'm just going to pick some random ones. We've got Cornelius that said, now leave it up to the blacks, Coogler and Moore to take T'Challa away. LOL. Irony. Yeah, the irony. The irony.
Talk about the irony.
Yeah.
Seriously.
You got D Stizzle that said facts. It wasn't Stan Lee presents the world of Wakanda. Right. I agree with that too. Then we've got Raymond 2000 that said, and if they continue this, keep T'Challa dead thing going, what do you think is going to happen to his comics? They're going to slowly phase him out. I mean, I agree with that too, because if you look at the video game, the new Black Panther video games, he ain't even in his own video game.
Really? Shut up.
It's his grandfather. They won't do T'Challa. They won't do T'Challa. He's not even in his own video game.
No, you're fucking with me right now.
No,
I'm about to look this up.
It's set in a different time period. Obviously, he's not born at this time. But again, you went through the trouble of taking it all the way back to the past when you could have literally done a T'Challa Black Panther video game.
It did not require
It didn't require any of that shit.
Oh
so
my
they
gosh.
they don't. I don't know.
No.
We got Raymond 2000 that said, look at the Fantastic Four. When was the last time they had a major comic book run?
True.
Probably not since Hickman shit.
Yeah, probably not since Hickman. Let's see. We've got... Let's see. Yeah, D Sizzle said, Johnathan Hickman put 10 times more respect on T'Challa's name than what John Ridley was doing. Yes, Johnathan Hickman actually told fantastic fucking stories in the I've said this before, I believe. Johnathan Hickman, I think any iteration of the Marvel Comics that he has touched are my favorites. Johnathan Hickman is such a great writer to me, especially, again, the Time Runs Out saga. It is one of my favorites that he's done. So, and that opens, again, with T'Challa.
Yeah.
So,
oh my goodness. Okay, going back to this video game. This is crazy. Okay, so yeah, this video game is based back in the day, World War II. So yeah, it's not even him. It's his grandfather, right?
Yeah, it's his grandfather. It's not him.
Because I don't even think it's like our Steve Rogers Captain America.
No, it's Steve.
Is it Steve?
Yeah, Steve was around during World War I.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, it says joining them will be the 2 additional heroes, Gabriel Jones, a U.S. soldier, and a member. Okay, I read that wrong. That's why I was like, whoa, what?
Yeah, it's Steve.
This is crazy.
We got Cornelius that said... Also,
that makes me sad.
Also, my question is, if not recasting T'Challa is honoring Chadwick Boseman, is then recasting Thunderbolt Ross dishonoring William Hurt?
That's the real question.
This is a real question, you know?
And I completely agree
but that's,
with
again,
you.
That's something that where they were able to see that the need for Thunderbolt Ross, they weren't able to see the need for T'Challa, which just, again, in no universe is that character more important than T'Challa. D Stizzle said, this is my kind of channel because it's street level real talk. Yes, sir. That's what we try to do, is be as authentically real as possible. And, you know, that's something I have said since
starting this YouTube channel is most people when they come to the channel, they may find I'm not like most YouTube content creators. I'm not going to sugarcoat what I have to say. If I don't like it, I'm going to tell you I don't like it. And I'm going to give a damn if you disagree with what I have to say or not. This shit is objective. You can have your own opinion just like I have mine. You know, one of my favorite things that I always say is opinions are like orgasms. I only care about mine.
I mean, listen,
if you
ain't wrong.
if you don't like what I have to say over here or whatever, that's all fine. Don't come. I'm not going to lose sleep.
Or stay.
I'm not, and then when these people come in comments and they try to tell you what's what, I'm one of those YouTube creators where I will literally have the last word.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
I think what really got me when I first started watching your shows was just how you would be so calm one moment and then you would just pop off the next. And I was like, this is my type of guy. Because I feel you. I also feel like you and I at one point probably shared the same brain because sometimes I'll be thinking of something and then it just like spews out of your mouth and I'm like, whoa, how'd you get in there?
Then we've got, let's see. We got Kev Z247 that said Shuri as BP alongside T'Challa is amazing. It was amazing, and it I would love to see that. I don't know why.
So I was about to say, in the comic, at one point, do they rule together? Are they both Black Panthers at the same time, or is he like the only Black Panther in the comic?
She is Black Panther during that time, but he is the ruler still of Wakanda.
Okay.
And they still don them they wear the suit together at one point in time too. Like she's Black Panther, but he is at one point in time was also the Black Panther, and they did it together,
which was really cool and makes sense because in the first movie they were so connected, and if it wasn't for Shuri and her smarts, that suit would have not even existed.
Yeah.
So.
And that's why I said her T'Challa dying of a sickness in this film is ridiculous, and it's ridiculous because you are in the most technologically advanced nation in the world. Let's go back to Endgame, when Bruce, some of the smartest minds, Bruce, Tony, could not figure out how to take the stone out of Vision's head. Shuri simply said, "Well, why didn't you just do this?"
Yeah.
Oh, because we didn't think of it. Okay. She's like, "Give me
time,
I'll get it out."
Isn't it like true that Shuri's actually smarter than Stark? She's like one of her.
In the MCU, she's one of the smartest minds, if
isn't
not
it
the
her
smartest
and Richard Reed, right?
Yeah, Mr. Fantastic is one of the smartest minds in Marvel as well. But she, like I said,
she just definitely should have. If she can heal Vision, why then would she not? And then and from what we're hearing from the leak, she's making a new heart-shaped herb. She's going to create a heart-shaped herb. So where she can take and get the powers of the Black Panther. Then you're telling me this woman, this girl that loves her brother, can't make an antidote to heal his sickness?
Yeah.
In the most technologically advanced nation in the world?
Yeah, no, that doesn't make any sense.
Okay. Then we've got Raymond 2000 that said we have seen two power black people, male and female together in, or when have we? No, we haven't. That's the thing. We haven't. Cornelius said, I think Nate Moore is the issue. He for sure is. I've been saying that. He for sure is. Cornelius also said this is why these conversations are contagious. Let's see. Stamina said, it's this simple. The fact Guardians of the Galaxy 3 got rescheduled for the reasons it did, and for the time it did, is proof enough that BP2 releasing when it did has always been a choice.
It has. It's a choice.
Yeah.
They made that choice. They could have easily, because, at that time, Kevin Feige said at the time it just felt it was too soon. But it wasn't too soon to keep production going.
No.
It wasn't too soon to keep trying to dole out this film and get this film out for the money in your pockets and for the time that you slated for it to come out.
Exactly.
So that's why I said
we're being hypocritical in some situations here and some of the things that we're saying.
That
there's double standards.
Being hypocritical, and there are always double standards when it comes to that, for sure.
Yeah.
Because we could have easily, like I said, I feel like I mean of course. I feel bad, but I just feel like maybe it would have been more of a success. I guess the hype and the build up to this movie would have been more of a success if we would have just kept it pushing and
Yeah.
we didn't specifically take the time to honor Chadwick.
Yeah,
The
like
way
and,
that they're gonna honor him in the movie.
Right.
At least how they're portraying like they're going to.
and we had Ashura that said at Planet Fanatics is if the movie is good or bad, will you tell people to go support Marvel/Disney? I'm going to give my opinion on the film,
And what
then
you do
what
with
you
it,
do with that opinion
that's
is
between
completely
you.
up to you.
Yeah.
If you guys want to go see it after what I've said, go see it. If you don't want to go see it, again,
see
I
it.
respect both sides. I get it. I get it. I'm not. Don't misjudge me. I get it. Trust me. I have even gone back and forth within my own head,
Right.
and said, "Do I want to see this?"
I have to.
So yeah, don't. Yeah, no. I'll give you guys what I think, but at the end of the day, you guys do with it what you want. Let's see. We got Gray here that said T'Challa is on the same intelligence level as Reed. Tony, he is. Yes, T'Challa is on the same. He is on the same intelligence level as them. Him and Reed are actually very good friends. Very good friends in the comics. That's one of the reasons why T'Challa even agreed to see the Illuminati in Wakanda, because Reed was a part of it, and as a favor to his friend, he did that. But T'Challa is extremely intelligent. That's again another reasons why representation matters.
Yeah.
He's not another dumb black hero or a dumb black side chick or sidekick. He's super intelligent.
Super intelligent. Super intelligent. I mean, yeah, he is the ruler of Wakanda. So I would hope he would know a little something.
Yeah, no, Oscar, I'm not saying, I wasn't specifically telling you not to misjudge me. I'm simply saying I hope no one out there is misjudging what I'm saying when I say, I'm still going to go see the film or T'Challa Nodala, because I definitely understand both sides. I do. It's a tough decision.
We're not here to tell you. We're not here to tell you to not support anything. We're just here to tell you our honest opinion, and what you do with that, you go right ahead. If you want to go support the film, go support the film. If you don't, then we understand.
Yeah, and no, she can't touch T'Challa like you said there. But this is also the MCU. The MCU is vastly different from Marvel Comics.
Yeah.
As we've seen. In the MCU, they have set the precedent that Shuri is one of the smartest minds in the MCU.
Yeah. Which I'm here for. As a black woman, I'm here for it.
We got one from Black Claw 2 that said, if Harrison Ford is playing Ross, then that means that a white side character can outlive his actor, but a black main one can't. Yeah. That's why I said it was so easy for them to decide. We can't tell these stories without Thunderbolt Ross, but yet so easy in the same. Even though they said it was a tough decision, whatever, you decided within minutes.
Yeah.
If something's tough, it's not decided within minutes. To not recast T'Challa. So
yeah, I'm gonna be hesitant. I'm gonna be super hesitant. You know what I mean? To make a decision like that, I'm not gonna just, especially if there was true emotion behind it. I don't think you're just gonna be like, whoa.
Yeah,
nope, we're not doing it.
And him and like D Stizzle just said, T'Challa has made history with the Fantastic Four. I mean, that was his first appearance. His first appearance was in the Fantastic Four. That's the first comic he showed up in. I mean, if you even watch the Fantastic Four animated series from back in the late 80s, early 90s, T'Challa shows up. He's in it. He's in that cartoon. I mean, there's just it's tough, man. It's tough. Yeah, where's Blue Marvel? Whoa, gosh, if we ever see him. The rumor was he was supposed to show up in the Marvels. Even though he's not a Marvel, he was supposed to... Blue Marvel.
Yeah. Okay, I heard that rumor.
Yeah.
I think that rumor's still circulating, actually.
It still is. I don't know if there's any real meat to it, but it definitely still was. We've got J. Wolf that said a tough decision would require you to revisit a few months. Yeah. Yep.
Oh, I love Luke Cage.
Yep.
Love
Misty Knight, Luke Cage, all of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which I'm like, this is super random, but I'm wondering, are they bringing Defenders into MCU?
We don't really know for sure.
Are we going to see anyone from the Defenders in Born Again?
Well, we know that Jessica Jones, the actress that plays Jessica Jones, she was supposed to show up in Born Again or something like that, but I think there was some scheduling conflicts. I don't know if she still is or not. I'd have to look back into that story, but hopefully we do see them show up in some of the things, because their connection with Daredevil and Born Again, I feel like that would be, I don't know. Hopefully it'd be nice to see some of those characters come back in.
Yeah, I love Jessica Jones.
So yeah, I mean,
love Luke Cage.
yeah, that's like I said, that's my thoughts on the T'Challa stuff for today, and that is the.
He will definitely get more into it later on.
Yeah, like I said, for those of you that are unaware, if you have not seen myself, E-Man, Back of the Bus with Marcus, and Movie Blog with Anthony, we will be live at 7:30 this evening, and we will be discussing some of the other things like Winston Duke's comments on recasting. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about dive in a little bit more into what Nate Moore had to say, getting all of our thoughts on that. There's a couple of things we're going to talk about, but I can definitely tell you it's a stream you don't want to miss. I know
everyone so far is super excited. Cornelius said, "I'll see you later. I took the day off, so I'll be on both streams tonight."
Oh, that's dope.
Sweet angel face boy.
Dope, Cornelius. Yeah.
Cannot wait for this live tonight. Raymond 2000.
Yeah, no, it's going to be. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't want to pronounce your name wrong. Is it Noab? I don't want to pronounce it wrong. Noab. I don't want to pronounce it incorrectly. But yeah, bro, we finished the topics on T'Challa right now. But if you come back at 7:30, it'll be from the Planet Fanatix channel. Our channel is going to be hosting it. If you come back to the channel tonight at 7:30 Central Standard Time, we are going to be live streaming with, again, the creator, Emmanuel, Back of the Bus, and Movie Blog, and all four of us are going to be giving our thoughts. I'm excited for it, to get with like-minded creators, especially with Emmanuel, to discuss these things, and this is going to be a live stream.
Yes, I'm so excited for you.
It's going to be a live stream. Blip Nate Moore. Yeah, blip him.
Yes, snap. Please, blip.
So yeah, no, it's definitely exciting. So yeah, we didn't have time to do. How long have we been on right now? Because it's 3:30 right now.
Honestly, I'm just living.
3 hours.
I'm just living in this world.
we didn't have really time to do the Marvel Encyclopedia that I wanted to do. I guess we could go through here and I could try to gauge some of you guys' Marvel knowledge really quickly here on one of the last things that we could do. Because
let's just do one for a take home.
Why not? we can do that because like I said, we are.
I'm really excited to get into this book.
Yeah, we definitely have some things there. But like I said, definitely come tonight and see that. And then like Kev's just said, E-Man has a steady hand for sure. One of the things that I so much respect about Emmanuel is he has stayed true to what this movement means. He has not wavered in any way. He has also said out there that there are, and I've said this too, there are several sides to recast. there are several sides to recast when it comes to conversation. Where Emmanuel supports recast, he's going to only support the things that he has put in place for recast. When I say that, he's not out here supporting people that are trying to degrade Marvel or do, because it's never about that. It was never about it was never about drama. It was simply just bringing awareness to the character, and I believe he's done that. Yeah. He has. It was about trying to make T'Challa a household name, like Peter Parker, like Tony Stark, like Steve Rogers, and he's done that. If Wakanda Forever trends, Namor doesn't trend, Shuri doesn't trend.
Right.
T'Challa trends. Recast T'Challa trends every single time. So I'm very, like I said, I'm cool. I'm excited to be in that space. But we'll do a few of these really quick before we head out.
I'm so excited. Okay.
Let's test some knowledge. It's funny. It turned right to Kang.
Oh, it was meant to be.
Let's see here. Who can I go on? Okay, chat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a definition of the character, and you all have to tell me who this character is. If you can guess who the character is, all right? Any update on merch? Yes. Jailwolf. Actually, I am going to get with you personally after this stream, so I'll probably message you on Instagram. I'll message you after this stream because there are some things I want to talk to you about merch and some things I want to talk to you about logo stuff and other things like that. So I'm going to get with you personally after this stream.
Let's see. I'm going to give you guys somebody hard, not somebody that, like, everybody knows.
Try to make my brain hurt, huh? Try to make me think.
Let's see. Okay, this character's occupation. That's a little easy if I say her occupation.
Oh, we already mentioned it was a her.
I did, didn't I?
Yep, ruined it.
I just ruined it. Doing a different one then. Let's see. There's so many characters. I'm just like, fuck.
I know, this book is so thick, guys. Like, I don't know if you guys can see it. Wow, he's literally flipping through the pages. But this book is, she thickums.
Yeah, it's a big one. This character's first appearance in Marvel Comics was in July 1976. They are a part of a team. Let's see. Superhuman strength, can levitate, can also fly up to 600 miles per hour, create mental illusions. Let's see. Projects cosmic energy beams from their eyes. Who am I talking about here? Who is this character? Does anybody know what character I'm discussing? Ding, ding, ding.
I'm going to let them answer
ding,
first.
ding,
I want to
ding.
see if anyone is thinking the same thing I'm thinking.
What character are you thinking?
I'm not saying.
What character is it, guys?
Come on, guys.
Who is this character
Does he
here?
need to read it again? Read it again for the good time.
Let's see. The character has superhuman strength, can fly up to 600 miles per hour, and shoot cosmic beams from his eyes, and is really strong. Who we talking?
Come on,
Do I need to
guys.
give another hint? Their film came out this year in Phase 4.
Come on now.
Not Silver Surfer.
Nope.
It is not the Silver Surfer. They are not from let's see. Okay. Their base is on the moon of Saturn, the Titan moon of Saturn. Can't pronounce your name. Fatten.
Yep. Icarus.
You got it. It was Icarus.
I knew it.
Icarus.
I knew it.
Icarus was the one. All right. Let's see. I'll give another here. It's funny. Last night I instantly turned to T'Challa, but I don't even remember what page she's on. But that'd be too easy anyway. This is not one people are too familiar with. The duo first appeared in Spectacular Spider-Man number 64. Don't look any of this up, you cheaters. And Fantastic Spider-Man number 64. One of the duo can open a portal into the Dark Forces dimension and can also project foes into the dimension and teleport himself and others. The other part of this duo is okay. Gray got it.
I did not know that. Oh, but isn't there a whole show about that?
Yeah, it's a terrible show, but there's a show about it.
Oh, so don't watch that show.
Oh gosh, if you value your time, do not watch that show.
You said never in your life.
Yeah, Cloak and Dagger. Okay, let's see here.
Man, you guys are on it.
Thanks to a certain... I'm trying to figure out a way to say this, because I'll give this away if I say that word. This character possesses great strength, can lift 10 tons, a high degree of... I don't want to say that either. That'll give it away.
Thanks, D-Stizzle. I will not be watching it.
He can exist in outer space without needing to breathe. I can't say that either. That gives it away.
Ashura already said Spider-Man.
Not Spider-Man. He gained the ability to fire bolts of solar energy after his Oh, that'll give it away too. Damn, I'm sorry. This one's a little tough. There's so many words that would just give this one away. Okay,
This character we think has something to do with what's going on in Miss Marvel. With
I was about to say, I agree
with her bands.
with-
And that gives it away, bro. If I just said
bands. Like that literally gives it away.
Oh no, then I'm lost. Sorry.
Who are we talking about? Not Spider-Man, not Blue Marvel, not Sentry,
I was thinking Blue Marvel. Captain America?
not Captain America.
If I say this really gives it away. He's
There you go, Captain Marvel.
There you go.
Gray got another one.
Gray, that's like, what, 3?
Captain Marvel.
Yeah, Captain Marvel.
okay.
I didn't want to say Negabands, and I didn't want to say Kree because that just.
Oh yeah, if you would have said Creed, I would have been like, okay, Captain.
Yeah, I didn't
Captain
want
Marvel.
to. Didn't want to give that away. I'll do like 2 more here. But see,
When we do this again, when we do this with the guys, when I have a full cast here and everybody's here, we're going to do it to where, for those of you that weren't here when I said it earlier, these are not the only Funko Pops I have.
I went and got a bunch of different Funko Pops. These are just the only 3 I have out right now.
I went and got Funko Pops,
And we are going to have someone
from the cast representing someone in the chat.
And when I read off something from the Marvel Encyclopedia and give them hints on the character, if
They guess the character,
then that's going to be a point for them.
and we're going to go up to like probably 5
Or 10 points there.
and they'll be representing one of you in the chat. So let's say Corion's representing Gray.
Hey, Gray.
Well, if she wins, well, Gray would then get
Whatever Funko Pop
Gray, don't laugh. We look so much alike. Don't even.
Whatever Funko Pop we are going to be
giving away for that
Yeah.
for that game, and we're gonna do that often. Like, it's not just gonna be
Funko Pops. We're going to have other prizes too. Like, we'll even have like DoorDash gift cards and things like that.
Ooh,
Like,
I'm excited. We have a lot of fun things coming your
Yeah,
way, guys.
we'll have other fun things that gets the chat specifically involved, to where you guys are having fun here. Let's see. The Age of Ultron. Let's see.
Such a good one.
Superhuman strength enables this character to leap. Enables this character to be able to leap of 2 miles. Tough skin withstands small. His tough skin withstands small arms fire. Unlike his nemesis, his strength does not increase with rage, and he rarely returns to human form. However, he retains his mental
stabilities. Who are we talking about?
Not Hulk.
Unlike the Hulk.
Doom, 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 doom. Not Red Hulk.
Gray said Abomination?
It is Abomination.
Damn, Gray.
Damn, Gray, you killing it right now. Gray, do you have you an encyclopedia? What's going on here?
It is an Abomination.
Abomination. Okay.
I'll do one more, and this one's more of a team based. So I will say the members of the team here, but can you guess what team this is? This is a female team.
Okay.
That might have given it away. You've got a part of this team. You've got Singularity. You've got Dazzler. You've got Sister Grimm. You've got Queen Medusa, She-Hulk, and Captain Marvel.
What female team am I talking about? Singularity honestly should give it away. A-Force. Stamina NC came in with A-Force. And then we got Elijah with A-Force. And we've got
Fatten with A-Force as well. Okay, yep, that is the A-Force team.
Good job, guys.
Good job, guys. Good job, guys. Even though, like I said, that's really... This shit is... This book is crazy
Intense,
big.
Yeah.
Superhuman strength and durability. I don't want to... Sure, I'll say that. Fatty body can absorb bullets, even artillery shells, and was... He's impervious to injury. However, eyes, ears, nose, and mouth were not. As injury resistant when he planted himself firmly blank. I'm not going to say the rest because that gives it away.
The Blob.
And yes, Ashura got that first. Blob.
Let's see here. This is the last one I'm going to do, guys.
He says that.
I know, I say that, but this is actually kind of... I like this book.
I know, it's really fun.
Let's skip to, like, some juice in the back.
Ooh.
Doom, 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 doom. This is not hard. This is not hard at all. Possesses virtually unlimited ability to manipulate magic energies, potentially. What'd they say?
He's enjoying himself being quizmaster, clearly. Oh yeah, we definitely got a king on our hands right now.
Incalculable strength, godlike durability, immortality, and shape-shifting abilities. He can possess... That's all I'm saying.
Bam, 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 bam. No, he just said he.
Not Scarlet Witch.
Bam, 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 bam. Bam, 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 bam.
Mephisto! Also got it. It is Mephisto. Mephisto is the one that we were talking about there. It says he can possess the souls of those who hand them over willingly. Yeah, Mephisto. Anyway, I am gonna stop there because I could keep going. There's so this shit is huge, bro. Shit is huge. No one's getting this though, bro. No one's getting this.
He says that, and I'm gonna leave here with it.
Dr. James' power inevitably causes his children to join the ranks of Earth's superheroes. Now, come on, that you now if you know this one, you're a deep Marvel fan. Who are we talking about?
Who are we talking about?
Who are Dr. James and his children? His children. What was the name of the group?
Ashura said Power Back.
Power Pack.
Man, it's so good.
You got it. Boom, boom, boom. Ashura, I should send you a fucking Funko just for that shit.
Just for that. That one was good.
Yeah, so we're gonna do that more often, and we're actually gonna do it when we're able to do it. We're gonna Power Pack. Grace said it too.
What are they talking about? No, what are they talking about?
I'm not sure. So
are they asking is the other stream going to be 7:30 Eastern or Western time?
Oh gosh, that's a great question. I know it's Central Standard.
So
what time?
7:30 Central.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would just make sure it's 7:30 Central because East is an hour ahead and West is an hour behind.
Yeah. Yeah, so like I said, we have other games. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do that game more. I'm getting with J.O. Wolf after this stream. We're gonna talk to I'm gonna talk to him because we've got some merch that we're gonna start getting in here so that when we do these games, we can give away some merch as well as we have a place up where we can sell merch and things like that. But we are gonna be giving some merch away. Make sure mark your calendars because we are close to our 1,000 subscriber.
Yay!
Some 1,000 subscribers. We're very close. So we are going to do a stream for 1,000.
Yes.
Before we get to 1,000, we're going to do a stream for it. We're going to get in here and we are going to be just hanging out in the chat with you guys until we reach 1,000. Honestly, that stream is nothing but a big party stream where where we're going to be giving things away, hanging out with you guys. You can ask us any type of questions you want to ask us. If there's anything worth talking about, we'll discuss it.
We're going to get into it.
It's going to be a very fun stream.
Guys, we might even talk about Bruno. Okay, that's how big this is.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be really big, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to spend that time with you guys. Like I said, I enjoy spending all of the time that we always spend with you guys, and just trying to make these streams and everything just more immersive and fun for you guys, and constantly thinking of ways to keep you guys engaged and entertained on this channel.
Yes.
It's again, I appreciate it, and I appreciate you guys being here. I don't know if you guys notice, for those of you that are here every week, each week the stream grows. We get bigger and bigger each week, with the likes and everything like that. It's so cool to see it, and it's so cool to see some of the same faces coming back, and it's so cool to see the hype for tonight's stream. So, like I said, I appreciate you guys, myself, and everybody in the room, from Corian to me, and this is Corian's first time doing a live stream with us.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm so happy to be here. This has literally been hands down the best 3 hours of my life. I'm so excited to open up more and to talk with you guys more, and for you guys to get to know me and me to get to know you. I'm usually louder and way more sarcastic, but I'm trying to ease my way in. So,
and we can't wait for her to be able to experience this with the entire cast here. Like I said, we'll all be here for Wakanda
I'm convinced that they're not here because they think I have cooties, but that's besides the point.
And then we also have we also have we also have some other people coming in too. So it's just like I said, lots of changes, lots of new fun faces, and lots of things going on. So we appreciate you guys being here. Again, make sure you're checking back in at 7:30. We will be here for that. Make sure you check back in if you are available and up. You can check back in with us in for our House of Dragon discussion, episode 9.
Yes.
That is going to be something that's going on. We're going to be live streaming for that later tonight.
I have so many notes.
Yeah. So this is honestly, that'll be my third live stream for the day. Will Chillmonger be with you guys? Chillmonger will not be with us on this stream. However, that is something that I have discussed with him and wanting to do. So we are definitely going to do other streams in the future to where we have other creators discussing this with us for sure, especially as we move past Wakanda Forever. I feel like that's going to even spark more conversation that we can have with other content creators. So Chillmonger has definitely been in the conversation. So yeah, lots of fun things coming up, and just hope that you guys are having fun and enjoying all these things coming up. So like I said, come back 7:30. Come back after 7:30 later that night for House of the Dragon.
Yes.
So yeah, it'll be fun. So again, as I always say, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I truly do. And I just hope that you guys continue to have a great, fun, nerdy, field, blessed day.
Man.
And let's see, can I do this time? Man, oh man.
I believe in you. You can do this.
Can I do it? I don't know.
You can do it.
I don't know if I can do it. But like I
can
said, we appreciate you guys. We love you guys. And
we love you guys so much. Thank you.
And we hope to see you guys, like I said, this evening and in future videos. So, like, subscribe, share with your friends, and I will see you guys in the next video. And I still didn't fucking do it.
No! You can do it!
God, it's so bad.
Every time.
so bad at this.
I feel like they literally just stay just for that part there.
They do. They only stay for that part.
Just for that part there, I swear.
They
oh
only
my
stay for that part. So anyway, see you guys later.
Oh,
and
everyone was so
be nice to
sweet.
one another. Watch yourself. Do what you need to do. Have fun. See you later this evening.
Bye.
Thank you.